The bride purposely made us look bad, so I wore a different colored dress.
I wore a dress with all the colors.
Note, story has 2 OPs.
Woo.
The bride and the friend.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Original post by first OP. Am I the a-hole for wearing a different colored bridesmaid dress after the bride tried to purposely make us look unflattering? Recently, I, 28 female, was a bridesmaid in my friend Tara, 28 female, and Tony's 30 male wedding, along with bridesmaids Amy, 27 female, Jane, 29 female, and her sister Lily, 32 female. Tara was one of those brides where everything had to be perfect. So early on, Tara placed her priority on the logistics. Because of this, Tara had left the details about the bridesmaid dress for
Is
last.
that Tara or Tara?
It pronounced
Taro.
both Tara or Tara.
Okay.
You can pronounce it either way.
Ube.
By the way, this comes from Bad Dress and /friends brides throwaway. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, Tara had organized a lunch for us in April to talk over the details of the dresses. She handed out swatches and said that the dresses must be in that color and floor length. I asked Tara if she was being serious, to which Tara asked what the problem was. Simply put, the color was ugly and unflattering. OP, already it seems like you're the problem, OP.
Yeah. Maybe
Jane-
you could have just been like, can I have a different color?
Yeah. Jane also spoke up and said that this color is going to make everyone in the party look bad. Amy also agreed. This is like a bad episode of freaking Say Yes to the Dress when all the
No.
bridesmaids are ganging up on the bride.
But look, when you have like 3 people being like, this is the worst color ever, maybe it actually is.
Totally possible.
Maybe it's the color of baby food.
This is not how you bring it up, though.
Yum.
This
Like-
is not how you bring it up.
Peas and carrots.
Tara rolled her eyes at us and said that she was sure and she expected us as bridesmaids to go along with what she wanted. Lily decided to chime in, said that she thought the color was fine. I think that she said this to prevent her younger sister from going full bridezilla. For months, Amy, John, and I begged Tara to consider a different color, but she wouldn't budge. We asked Lily to ask her sister to reconsider, but she said that she was the bride and that we should respect her choices. Yeah, no crap, she was the bride, but that doesn't mean that we have to sacrifice the way we look and look unattractive. Honestly, I feel like they're overreacting. I think that there is a lot of, if the dresses were really revealing or really unflattering, like shape-wise, I think that's fair. But I feel like the color, you don't really get too much say in.
I personally think that both sides are wrong. I think if you have 3 people who are like, yeah, no, this color is literally the ugliest color I've ever seen, you should be like, oh, I should probably not put that in my wedding that I'm having my friends be in, seeing as they hate it.
Yeah.
So I can make it literally any of the infinite colors available to me as an alternative.
But, okay, I'll give you one thing. I'm not saying that you're wrong.
It'd be different if they were saying her dress needed to change.
They're like, that color is disgusting.
Right.
And she's like, it's white.
Right.
No, I'm not saying that you're wrong because I see where you're coming from. However, we've read a lot of stories where people are like, this color is super significant, which is, I'm not saying is this, the case here, but like there are a lot of brides who are like, this is the color I want because this is my husband and I's favorite color. And we've always dreamed of having, navy blue wedding. And they're all like, I don't look good in navy blue.
Yeah.
I don't want to wear it. That's ugly. It's like, okay, but this is my wedding.
Yeah, I feel like it can't
And
be
I really
navy
love
blue. I get it because navy blue would be one thing.
Navy blue. We don't know the color.
I need the color. I need to know what horrendous shade. Imagine it's like a gradient of like baby puke
Yeah.
green and like maroon.
It's like just highlighter yellow.
An incomprehensible color combo.
Maroon's not. Oh, you mean color? Okay.
Right. If you
I was like, maroon's not bad.
split maroon with baby puke green. I mean, I'm physically like upset just thinking about that.
Anyway, Amy pointed out that Tara was probably making us look bad on purpose so that she could look better. And that made me furious. A lot of conjecture going on there. And also, it's her wedding day. She's supposed to look better than you.
Right. That is out of pocket.
And here's where I may be in the wrong. Amy, Jane, and I decided that enough was enough and that Tara was really being unreasonable about this whole thing. And so was Lily. So we decided to lie to Tara and say that we were going to order dresses in the color she wanted and sent her screenshots of dresses in that color. Yeah, you guys are the a-hole. Tara's fine.
Without seeing the color, I have to say you guys are the a-hole.
You are the a-hole unequivocally. Tara is totally fine.
Is there any way that we can get color?
No, I think we're about to. I think we're gonna find it.
Please,
Yeah.
please.
Don't
I hope
look.
there's
Don't
a
tell
link
us
for
because I
color.
think we're gonna find it.
Okay.
Meanwhile, the three of us created a separate group chat and decided to order dresses that would actually make us look good. We agreed on baby blue and bought the dresses online.
Hey, these broads' heads are full of rocks.
Oh my
You
God.
ordered baby blue for a wedding
Oh my God.
as the bridesmaid? Isn't that like?
Isn't
Isn't that supposed to be like very tightly controlled at a wedding?
Yes.
The color blue.
Well, no.
Like,
oh,
or
yes.
specifically,
oh, yeah.
like, what, right?
Something borrowed, something blue. But also, the bridesmaid dress colors are supposed to be tightly controlled. Also, I feel like there might be a different reason for all of them agreeing that color was ugly, and I think it's because they're all controlling and they pick on OP, or they pick on the bride. That's what it feels like. It feels like they're all mean girls.
Right.
They freaking
They
lied
could
to
all
her.
be mean girls. Like all.
They
all-
could be.
The bride also.
I don't know. It's her wedding
the,
day.
If it's the role, if it's the group. No.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the bride's
Yeah.
a mean girl for being
Yeah.
like, wear this color. I'm
Yeah.
just saying,
Sure.
if these
they're
are three
all-
people in your bridesmaids,
yeah, maybe you're
three of your
flocking together,
closest
too.
friends,
Sure.
you might have some overlap in the way that you guys act.
Sure. Tara didn't ask any more questions about the dresses and essentially just took our word that everything was okay. Wow, your friend took your word? Flash forward to the wedding day. The moment we put on our dresses, Tara lost her crap. And I bet that OP's going to call her a bridezilla. I bet that OP's going to call her a bridezilla for that.
That's pretty dumb.
She started yelling at us and crying, and Lily had to escort her out of the room. Apparently, she must have gotten ready elsewhere because we didn't see her up until we were called to go to the venue for the ceremony. The wedding was great, but Tara was upset. Since the wedding, none of us have heard from Tara. However, Lily and Tony have been texting us, calling us horrible people, and claimed we ruined the wedding. Tony even said that Tara almost canceled the whole thing, and he had to force her to go through with it. Maybe Tara was upset that we didn't get the color that she asked for, but I don't think it was right for us to make us... I don't think it was right for her to make us look unattractive. Am I the a-hole? Yeah. Yeah. And there's a verdict, and I think we're going to find the color. You are
Yeah,
automatically
buddy.
the a-hole.
You're
Unequivocally the a-hole.
Imagine like the Statue of Liberty, but it's 5 times bigger and it's just someone's butthole. That's you.
Yeah. Yeah, that is you guys. Wow. Verdict, a-hole. Info, what was the color? Terracotta.
A pretty
not
good
that
color,
bad.
not gonna lie.
That's not that bad.
If it's like
work
a
with
summer or
terracotta.
spring wedding,
Yeah.
That's not that bad.
like a summer
at
wedding,
all.
Good
perfect
shade.
color.
That's nice.
No matter what the color was,
It's
you're still kind of the a-hole.
yeah,
Yes.
it's the bride's
It just would have been
choice.
like more understandable if it was truly like, like
If it was truly something that like everyone who went to that wedding was like, why would
like
she
if
pick
it,
that?
a seafoam green like teacup dress. That's horrific. I'm not gonna wear that. You're not gonna wear
Yeah,
that.
something
I understand.
Like insane. Something insane. This is
Right.
not even close to being
Floor
insane.
length
This is just like
terracotta is
some
perfectly
people
fine.
don't like that color.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be upset about some people not liking that color. Like that's not a color that you can literally sabotage the wedding for.
You know what? I'm buying you tickets to Antarctica. One way. You have a nice trip. Have a vacation.
We know someone who can get you some resale tickets.
We know someone who can get you tickets to Antarctica.
Anyway, to all the Redditors who are saying that it was a fall wedding, ever think she just chose that theme as an excuse? Just saying. OP, what? Second post by second OP.
Oh,
We're about to hear the
please.
bride's take, and I'm so excited for that, man.
Your friend is such a
Your friend
garbage man.
sucks. Hi, everyone. This is my first time posting on Reddit. I found this forum, and I just need to vent. A little over a week ago, I married the love of my life.
Lommel.
For the most part, the wedding was everything I dreamed it would be. I wish I could say that our wedding wasn't ruined. I wish I could look past the bad. However, my bridesmaids went behind my back and decided to lie to me and embarrass me. I had 4 bridesmaids. 3 of them were good friends of mine, and the other one was my sister, who was the maid of honor. I could have asked other better friends of mine to be my bridesmaids, but unfortunately they were booked and didn't have time to be bridesmaids with their schedules. So they attended as guests. So I picked 3 of my other friends. Looking back, it would have been way better to just have my sister as my bridesmaid, I wish I could go back in time and slap myself. When the wedding planning started, my friends didn't put much effort into helping me, which was the first red flag. However, I kind of just sucked it up and did mostly everything myself. A few months later, I got my bridesmaids together and told them the requirements for the bridesmaid dresses. I told them that they would have to pay for it themselves since me and my husband were pretty much paying for everything else, and that the dresses would have to be long and terracotta, burnt earthy orange. I provided swatches as well so they would have a reference. This was the biggest issue.
Just the swatches?
I just want to point out they need to take a page out of I can't remember the character's name, but the lady from 27 Dresses. She goes to 27 freaking weddings where she's a bridesmaid, and literally there's a montage of her pulling all these ugly dresses that she's never gonna wear again. That's the whole point of that montage, is that she has these terrible dresses, and she does it anyway because she realizes that she's not the bride and she doesn't really have a say in that. She just needs to suck it up and wear these ugly dresses and be there for her friend.
Yeah.
Do that. Other than my sister, who has no issues with the dress. My other bridesmaids were whining about how ugly the color was and how they wanted me to pick something else. My wedding was fall themed, so the dresses, decor, tables, place settings, invitations, florals, suits, etc. were meant to be in the orange-brown color palette. And they chose baby blue.
So there is some stuff about how because they have to pay for the dress, it's like they should have somewhat of a say. But
I still disagree. I think that if you can't afford it, then say that you can't be a bridesmaid.
Sure, exactly. Like,
you get a say on the fit, maybe. You know, I
in that exact same train of
style of dress.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying. I think you get a say on the style of dress.
Yeah, right. Same logic applies though to the wife and groom who are paying for everything else at the wedding.
Yep.
You're not paying for that, so maybe you should listen to this one thing that they want you to do.
Yep. Several times after this, my bridesmaids would text me asking me to change the color of the dress. Their biggest complaint was that the color made them look ugly, which in all honesty, I don't think it did. Plus, I have already planned out the color scheme with virtually everything else, so it wouldn't make any sense to change the color. Finally, later on, they stopped complaining about the color and sent me screenshots of the dresses that they had bought online, which were all in an earthy orange tone. When they did this, I really thought that they had stepped up as friends and wanted to make me happy. I would have never thought that they were sabotaging me because they're all adults, you would think. I asked them if the dresses fit correctly and if they needed any adjustments or hemming, which I was happy to pay for them. But the three of them said the dresses fit fine. I trusted them blindly. The morning of the wedding, my bridesmaids arrived with all of their stuff and started getting ready. Hair and makeup are done, the weather's nice, the wedding jitters are coming in. I felt giddy but happy and excited to finally marry my partner. Then comes time to put on the bridesmaid dresses. My friends reach into their bags and pull out their dresses, which were in the color light blue. I was shocked. I asked them why the dresses were blue, as that wasn't the dress I asked them repeatedly to buy. One of my bridesmaids said that the terracotta was an ugly color and that they thought blue would be better. I asked them, but what about the screenshots that they sent me? Apparently, it was to get me off their back.
And I'm not kidding. They're not staying.
No,
gone.
I would have kicked them out.
No, they're
I would
like,
have kicked them out.
Don't talk to me anymore.
Bye.
Don't text me. You literally staged a coup at my wedding while you're one of what are supposed to be my closest friends.
Yep.
So thanks for letting me know.
Mm-hmm.
Bye forever.
I was in tears at this point and asked them why the heck they would lie to me. One of the other bridesmaids then accused me of trying to make them look bad on purpose so that they wouldn't outshine me. Dude, if you look ugly in a terracotta dress, then you're not going to outshine this girl.
I just think you're not going to outshine. All you are ugly.
Yeah.
I can just
tell you're ugly.
You're rotten on the inside.
If you were truly beautiful, you'd look beautiful in anything. You're ugly on the inside and the outside, and I hate you.
Yeah, snap your fingers.
I cast power word dissolve.
Sorry, I don't hate you. I dislike you strongly.
I'll say it. Cut it out. No, I'm just kidding.
Cut it out. I told them that wasn't true and I was just going for a fall-themed wedding. My sister and I went to a separate room because the conversation was escalating and I was getting more and more upset. My sister had to console me, and my husband consoled me over the phone. After I was able to get ready, we all made it to the venue for the ceremony. The car ride was silent. At this point, I didn't care anymore. I just wanted to get married. The bridesmaids, aside from my sister, stood out like a sore thumb. I'm really hoping that they weren't too much of a distraction to the guests during the wedding, but it's no doubt that they were a distraction, all right. The photos with the entire wedding party in it obviously sucked. My photographer said that she would try and Photoshop the dresses, but still. I really wanted to uninvite them from the reception, but I had already paid for their seats, table settings, and I didn't want that to go to waste. The reception was a lot better, but I had to still deal with the disrespectful attitude from my bridesmaids. They were talking during my sister's speech, my dad's speech. One of them made comments about how blue was definitely her color, to which the others laughed. My sister had to shut them down multiple times. Get them out. Who cares if you already paid for them? Why would you want them there?
They're not even there during my ceremony.
No, bye. Bye. They also continued their accusations about how I was sabotaging the way they looked. I didn't have the strength to argue with them. I just wanted to enjoy my wedding. Since the wedding, I haven't talked to my 3 bridesmaids, and I don't really plan on keeping them as friends anymore. Makes sense. Yes, at the end of the day, the color isn't going to be the biggest deal about your wedding, let alone your marriage, but it's the fact that they lied to me, put their selfish needs in front of my needs, and the fact that they were disrespectful towards me, and something that me and my husband put a lot of thought into. It sucks because the vast majority of the wedding was wonderful, but there is a glaring stain over it that was caused by my so-called friends. And there is a second update by the bride. But yeah, cut these people off. They suck.
And you let them off on easy street,
yeah,
dude. I would have probably orchestrated some sort of really embarrassing, if they insisted on being at the reception, I would have organized some sort of embarrassing call out. Being like, can we have the baby blues stand up, everybody?
The baby blues.
All the baby blues, can we have you stand up? These women thought it'd be a great idea to trick me and buy a dress that was specifically the worst color they could have ever chosen for an earth tone wedding. Can we all give them a round of applause for being so brave?
I probably wouldn't do that because I wouldn't want to give them any more attention.
Dude, I
don't need to go full crazy.
Medieval war.
I'm just kicking them out. That's all.
Halberd.
Update though. Bridesmaid dress fiasco. Hi everyone. I'm with my husband and I'm trying to forget about the whole dress ordeal and just enjoy married life.
My husband and I'm trying to forget.
For some reason, the mods removed my post. Someone said that I should wear a white dress to all 3 of their weddings. It's funny, but I don't plan on attending any of their weddings.
Right.
No.
Why would you?
We shouldn't hang out with them ever again. And like I said before, I'm limiting my contact with them. Many people were saying that I should have just punted the 3 of them out, and had my sister as my bridesmaid, which isn't a bad idea. However, it was all about having an even number of bridesmaids to groomsmen, as there were 4 groomsmen as well. To those asking why my other friends couldn't be a bridesmaid but yet could attend the wedding, in case you don't know, being a bridesmaid involves more than just being there for one day. And no, when I asked my bridesmaids, I didn't see them as lesser friends than my other ones. They are all just close friends of mine from different parts of my life. By the way, you can be close to us throughout your whole life if you listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search Aboki Storytime. There is a little bit left to this story, but do you have any final thoughts?
Probably prioritize peace.
Yes.
Like I said, I wouldn't have even let them stay.
No, I would have kicked them out.
At this ceremony. And although the thing I suggested to do at the reception is funny, in reality, you should probably just quietly have them removed.
Yeah.
Unless you're feeling particularly spicy about it.
Spicy.
I don't know. I'm just tooted up on a Monday right now, and I'm ready to choose the path of no good.
It's true.
But they, you know what? I don't know. They deserve it. They deserve to be embarrassed, humbled, and called out. And, silver lining is they're such miserable people. Imagine having to be that person. Imagine living your life fundamentally from the lens of, I can't let the bride outshine me at her own wedding.
Her own wedding.
What a miserable person to be.
And also just thinking that your friend is trying to make you purposely look bad.
Which means that it's something that you would do.
Yeah.
Because you're a
Which
miserable
you made her
sad
purposely
sack.
look bad.
Sad sack's not the right word. That was not right. I'm trying not to curse, and that came up. I wanted to do the funny, but I can't do that one. Not yet. The world's not ready. World's not ready for that.
But the world is ready for the end of the story. And finally, apparently according to the comments, there is a post out there supposedly posted by one of my bridesmaids detailing this whole ordeal. The comments are saying that my story matches up with their story. I wasn't able to find it yet, but I'll keep looking because, oh my god. No, I'm not deleting any comments like people are suggesting. This is my first time logging back on since I posted, so I don't know what's going on. P.S. If anyone could message me the link, that would be great too. It's a lot easier than looking through hundreds of posts on Reddit about bridesmaid dresses. Small update. I found the post. Yeah,
Ooh.
all of the details line up unless there was another person out there who had 3 of their bridesmaids wear blue instead of terracotta. The ages line up too unless the ages were fake. I don't even know what to say or if I should say anything at all. Based on the age the poster put down, I'm pretty sure I know which one of them posted. Like I said before, I'm limiting my contact with them, which is why I'm not even sure if I should comment on her post or message her. I'm seething right now. The fact she wrote an entire post bragging about what she and the other 2 did is icky. Comments. Comment 1, if they didn't love terracotta, then go with deep red or burgundy. White, light blue. It's so different. Plus, terracotta is a pretty color anyway. The writer should have chosen lime green or neon orange, more realistic and truly horrendous on most people. Reply says, right, like even if they were POC, terracotta looks okay on most skin tones. I have no idea why they went with something that would stick out like a sore thumb at the wedding.
It's 'cause they're bad friends.
Yeah, they're bad friends.
What do you mean?
They're just bad friends. We know why. And that's the end of that story, folks. They're just bad friends. That's the easiest explanation, and it's the right explanation. They just suck.
That's right.
And they wanted attention. They wanted attention.
Now that you know what they are, you just give them as little of your emotional and mental energy as possible.
You agreed.
You know, no need to play the long con and then show up to their wedding and like ruin it or whatever, because that's just really all that is you hanging on to a negative thing in your life.
Yeah.
And having it be propped up.
Indeed.
Don't prop up any negativity in your life.
Stop propping it up.
For some other donkey-brained individual. My friend is about to propose to his girlfriend, but I know how unfaithful she is. Stop! My good friend Aaron and his girlfriend Mary have been together for almost 7 years. They met in college and are in a very close relationship. Personally, I would call them extremely codependent. Neither of them really have any friends aside from each other. By the way, this comes from user an orange horse. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. She doesn't let him have guy friends. In fact, she doesn't let him do a lot of things. He's not allowed to go out past 11, not allowed to drink or smoke. She has to approve all of his friends, and he's not allowed to be alone with other girls. She's got this guy on a tight leash. The reason why they're still together is that Aaron is completely whipped, and to him, she can do no wrong. He talks regularly about how amazed he still is that she finds him attractive. He's a decent looking guy, but she's like supermodel level good looking. They post cutesy couple photos every day. I'm pretty sure she makes him post them, and to everyone who sees them, they appear to be a perfect, magical fairy tale couple. Anyway, a few weeks ago, he told my boyfriend and me that he was planning on proposing to Mary. Of course, we congratulated him because he seemed super excited. Ah, man. No.
Dude.
Cold water. Now. Yesterday.
The thing about throwing cold water on your friends, though, when they're this deep, they've got to figure that out themselves. I don't know. Try talking to them, but if you can't, if cold water ain't working.
Yeah. Cold water's more for you. Just being like, I did what I tried.
Yeah.
I tried. Now, here's the issue. A few weeks prior to this, I hung out with a friend of Mary named Allison. Allison told me about a party they went to where Mary got wasted and slept with her ex. Oh, $10 trillion to me. Thank you. After the party, they began hooking up regularly, and she had a with him and a friend of his. Aaron has no knowledge of these hookups. I told my boyfriend about it because he shares my friendship with both of them, and he believes that we need to say something. But I'm not so sure how to even go about that. It will destroy him, ruin their entire relationship, and maybe a friendship as well. However, I think in the long term, he will be unhappy with a marriage where she's so controlling. It's not even that. But if she's completely okay with cheating on her long-term partner, it will be the same once they're married. Is telling him the right thing to do? Edit. To clarify, the cheating has not been going on for 6 years as far as I'm aware, and the hookups occurred recently. Like that matters. Edit 2. Some of the comments are calling me a bad friend for not telling him immediately. After giving it some thought and reading the comments, I have decided to tell him as soon as I can. Most likely tonight, if he's free to hang out. To those saying I'm being a bad friend for waiting, this is a huge deal, and it will greatly affect the future of Aaron, and I want to make sure I break the news in the correct way. This man is blinded by love. He's not going to expect this news at all, and his whole life is about to change. I'm definitely not going to do nothing because he deserves much better than this woman, and he deserves to know the truth about what he's getting into if he still decides to marry her. I'm expecting a full-blown crap storm. I'm expecting him to be hurt, angry, and in disbelief. I don't believe it's wrong that I'm asking for a bit of advice on how to approach this. Should I have told him sooner? Maybe, but what difference would a few weeks make? For all those asking, I'll post an update when I do it, and there's some comments.
Yeah.
Well, let's read them. Comment 1. He might not take it very well, but I think you should tell him. He can do what he wants with the information, but as a friend, you should absolutely tell him before he marries this chick. Reply. Yep. She'll spin it that she wants Aaron, so she's trying to break them up. Hope he has no proof besides the word of another person. Be careful about throwing her into this. Comment 2. Your friend is not in a codependent relationship. He's in a harmful one. No, seriously, we're often slower to call it out when it's men being mistreated, but switch the genders. If a girlfriend of yours has a boyfriend who didn't let her stay out late, let her drink or smoke, and let her have friends that he doesn't vet, you would probably not call that codependent. You'd call that controlling and abuse. Edit number 3. I've talked to Aaron since I posted this, and he is coming over tonight to talk and hang out. My boyfriend and I are going to tell him together because he knows the situation as well.
Oh boy, I don't know about hanging out. It's more like a revelation, a revealing.
Yeah, you just play a nice round of Mario Kart and you say, "Congrats on the W, Aaron. I have something to tell you."
I was thinking more of a reveal thing, like you have like a canvas that's like hidden by a tablecloth, and it's like, okay, are you ready for this big thing? Like and then you go, boom, and then it's like your girlfriend's cheating on you.
It's a whiteboard that says your girlfriend's cheating on you.
Yeah, that seems like the best case scenario.
In my head, I was like, hold on to that feeling of a first place victory. That feels so good, right? Hold on to that. Hold on to that. Your girlfriend had a 3-way.
Yeah, but that's sort of like life's here, and then you go here, and you're like, great. And then as soon as you get that information, you might as well just be kind of like mellow and then down.
You fell into the...
That's how it kind of felt.
The Laurentian abyss.
That's how it kind of felt, what I found out.
Oh, dang. I'm sorry, Keon.
Okay, he's coming over, and we're going to talk and hang out. My boyfriend and I are going to tell him together because he knows the situation as well. A few of you have suggested I talk to Mary first to give her a chance to come clean. No.
Maybe an ultimatum?
No. Nope.
I'm cool with ultimatums. I could see that, but
don't give the a chance to clear their name.
Oh, true.
Don't
she is pretty manipulative. He doesn't have any guy friends or anything. Yeah. You
don't do that.
Yeah, no, tell him.
Well, that's a good idea. I disagree. I'm not as close to her as I am to Aaron, and I don't see that going over well. I would much rather tell him and leave it to him to decide what to do from there. Edit 4. New information has been received from the third-party friend, Allison. She has sent me screenshots of texts that do prove Mary has been involved with her ex. They send messages regularly, and he has sent her the noodles.
I love noodles. What kind?
The ones from Kung Fu Panda.
Noodles.
No, noodle. Edit number 5. LMAO. I'll just mention that Aaron just got to our house. It's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will update later if I can. Thank you all so much for the kind messages and helping me work this hot mess out. I've been stressing about this all day, but I believe I'm doing the right thing in telling him. Quick little edit at 11 Eastern Standard Time. We all talked for a good bit. I told him what I heard from Allison and it went better than expected, but he was still pretty mad and upset. We're all just chilling and drinking now. I'll post the whole story tomorrow. Thanks again for all the replies.
Okay.
Here's the rest of the story. We've got the update.
I think Aaron sounds like he kind of knew, because if someone takes information like kind of well, they've definitely been thinking about it.
I hope so. I hope it's not just like straight up like dissociation. Like,
yeah.
Hopefully he's like, all right, and this, you know what? I've been thinking maybe this has been a bad situation for me, and now I know it is.
Yeah, sort of like if you've been broken up with abruptly versus broken up with and you've like kind of seen it coming. The abruptly one, usually nothing's good, but whenever you kind of expect to break up, you're like, okay, been seeing it happen, not fun, but all right. That's what I think this scenario is.
I think you're right about that. So I got lots of feedback on what to do here. A good majority of the comments told me to say something. To clarify, it may not have been clear in the original post, but I was never planning on doing nothing. Of course, you got to tell your bro if they're being cheated on. I just wasn't sure how to approach the situation. Well, at least you know that in retrospect now. Yeah. Some of the commenters gave me some very helpful advice. Some of you told me to talk to the girlfriend first. Some of you told me to wait. Some told me to gather a bunch of evidence first, which I ended up getting from Allison, the third-party friend. Some of you guys got angry with me for not telling him sooner, told me I was a bad friend. Some were sure he wouldn't believe me. Some predicted the girlfriend would deny it all. Well, all of you were somewhat right. Here's how it went down. I messaged Allison early on in the day, shortly after I made the post, because typing it all brought out my guilt and apprehension from the situation to the surface. I said to Allison that I needed to tell Erin and asked whether or not she had proof. This was when she sent me the screenshots of the text messages. Erin came over at around 8, and what was great was that Allison came over too. We all sat down and talked for a bit, and we all told him our suspicions about Mary. Allison showed him the text screenshots of Mary talking to her ex, and also told Erin all the stories she shared about her spicy-related encounters.
You mean to tell me there's something about Mary?
Yes, Matt Dillon. What was the most surprising was his reaction. He actually took it very well. He first got very quiet and just nodded. Erin ended up telling us that he had a sneaking suspicion that something was going on. He was not aware of the hookups, but he and Mary had gotten into fights before over the fact that she doesn't allow him near any other girls, but she goes out and flirts with other guys all the time. He told us that she had been distant lately and would leave rather often without telling him where she was going. There were a few other small things he mentioned that told us he was just generally unhappy with his relationship. He knew in his gut something was wrong, but wanted to believe it wasn't true. And by the way, I'll tell you something that's true, is that you can listen to full episodes with stories just like this on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and iHeartRadio and wherever you listen to podcasts. All you have to do is search what, Riley?
Okay, story time.
That's all it takes. And then you've got over 2,000 episodes to listen to. That's good eating. We do have a little bit more story. Do you have any closing thoughts? You have any thoughts, Riley?
Oh, I was going to wait till I'm like very invested. I want to see what Erin has to say. But Erin, sounds like you're almost on the other side of it. Good luck, brother.
We started unwinding with some booze after that, and it all got way more emotional. He cried, talking about how he felt stupid for not seeing it sooner, how he really loved her and would have given her anything. Then he got angry at her, and even more so at the guy. Some unpleasant and derogatory terms were used to describe her. Ultimately, he's told us that he's going to be breaking it off, at least for now. What? For now? Forever? Is that forever? You meant to say forever. I got you. We told him a million times how much better he deserved. He's definitely not going to marry her. Thanks again for all the supportive words and advice. We saved a good man from heartbreak. Edit. Oh, this exploded fast. Thanks for all the kind words, people. And that is the end of that story. Yeah. Hey, again, if you have, and OP did say that they clarified this and they were like, I was never not going to do anything. If you have a good friend or even just a normal friend, anyone who you have an actual relationship with, not an acquaintance, not just like someone you have met once. If you know someone's being cheated on and they are in your life, tell them.
Yep.
It is not you destroying their relationship. That was the person who cheated.
Especially if you see like a friend of yours in like a lion's den and you're like, oh wait, they're adding more lions to it. Probably tell them they're in a lion's den.
Right.
You know?
Yes. Tell immediately. If anyone of your friends' partners gives you an inkling that they are going to do an infidelity, you tell them.
My wife had an affair with the best man, and she accidentally confessed it to me.
I mean, he's the best man for a reason. He slams down.
The time frame is important here. We have been married for 3 years. We were together as a couple for 2 years before that. So we've been together for about 5 years.
Okay.
By the way, this comes from Hypoxia32. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So 2 weekends ago, her sister got married, and of course, my wife is at the wedding party. So as you would expect, she spent the 2 weeks prior to the wedding helping her sister get everything ready. No big deal at all. She kept me informed, and I knew this was going to happen.
Okay.
She took that Wednesday to Friday off of work to help her, and in fact, stayed with her for 3 days. I certainly know her sister, but I barely know the guy who is now my brother-in-law. In fact, I only met him a few times, but he seems nice enough. I show up Saturday morning a few hours before the ceremony in hopes of stealing just a few minutes to see her, not wanting to intrude on the day since I know she is busy, but I hadn't seen her since Tuesday. She sees me outside of her parents' house and sends her brother out to tell me that she'll come out and see me in the car, which I thought was odd, but whatever. She finally comes out and sits in the seat next to me and gives me a kiss. But instead of acting happy to see me or whatever, she tells me that she has to talk to me and she doesn't want it to ruin her sister's day.
Oh, God.
She's like, I've got
God.
something to tell you. But don't make a big deal about it.
Saying, I feel like this is coming from a person who just did a thing that made a big deal.
I think so.
Oh, God.
She informs me that at the reception, if I still want to go, I might hear some things about the best man and her, and she didn't want it to be awkward or weird. I just kind of sat there stunned. She said that about 4 years ago.
4 years. They've been dating and together in a relationship for 5.
5.
Oh no.
She had a fling with him and that it didn't mean anything, but she was aware that by nature I'm somewhat jealous, and she wanted me to know in advance so that if I heard something that I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh.
How do you so callously admit to cheating?
Oh, this is not her first rodeo.
Or is it?
I don't think so. I think she's been cheating on the daily, and this is the only one that she's like, oh, like I actually have to tell him.
I think she's gotten the dates wrong. I think she forgot that they've been together for 5 years.
For 5 years.
I think she's gotten the dates wrong.
Oh, so she doesn't even realize.
Yeah, that's because
I think she got the dates wrong, and she cheats a lot.
Yeah, I also thought yeah. Again, I just kind of sat there. This was not how I thought my morning would go, but I told her I appreciated knowing it and that it certainly wasn't a big deal now. What? Are you just like a fuse that's about to blow?
Bruv, you've been dating for 5 years. She cheated on you.
She went back in the house and I went to eat lunch and decided to meet her at the church. As I'm eating and reading my phone, it dawns on me. She said she had a fling with him 4 years ago, and we've been together 5.
Quick maths, my friend. Quick maths.
Not really. He took some time.
Slow
maths.
to very slow maths.
My first reaction was to blow it off and think that she just told me the wrong time. But the more I thought about it, the more I started to remember about a year and a half of us being together. She had a phase where she was really sketchy about her behavior, wasn't available when she normally was, and went on 2 weekend camping trips that were with friends from work. Of course, I'm a little knotted up over this, but I know I have a long day ahead of me. OP is way too chill about this.
Yeah, he's like,
yeah, I know.
I'll worry about that later.
He's like, of course I'm upset, but I don't have time.
Yeah.
I go to the wedding and sit there watching everything. After the wedding, they have a line that you walk by and congratulate the bride and groom, and the wedding party is standing in line as well. My wife is standing with some other guy. I don't know him at all, but the best man was there, and I just went down the line and acted like it was no big deal. Get to the reception, and it takes forever for them to come because of photos. She finally gets there and sits with me. I decided not to say anything, as I didn't want to distract from the day. But instead of just letting it go, she then tells me that each of the groomsmen or bridesmaids are going to dance and that she is going to be dancing with him. I ask why when she was not his partner for the party. And she said that the maid of honor and her partner were actually married and wanted to dance with each other. But
Wait,
you're
so
married.
Everyone has to dance? Is that? I don't think that's a thing.
No, it's not. And also, if the maid of honor is married, then why aren't you, as a married person, dancing with your husband?
Yeah, that would make way more sense.
At this point, I'm a little more than perturbed, but I try and not let it show. Thankfully, I was smart enough to not drink because I freely admit I'm an angry, wasted person, so I know when not to even partake. She talks to everyone around her, and then the dance comes, and he comes over and extends his arm, and she gets up. I try not to watch, and in fact, I make it a point not to. She comes back with him in tow, and they are joking like the best of friends. She decides that it would be a good idea to introduce us, and while I didn't say to F off like I wanted to, my greeting to him was probably less than cordial, but it did not deter him from sitting and talking with her for a few minutes. The more they sat and talked and reminisced about old times and places, the madder I got.
I mean, even if she didn't cheat, even if there wasn't overlap, like put some boundaries here.
Truly.
Don't dance and be all lovey-dovey and be all flirty right in front of your partner. I mean, like,
ridiculous.
Have some respect. Like, even if I feel like for people that you have had past romantic history with, the walls with them should be higher.
Agreed.
Like you should. I feel like you should give even more space.
I agree.
Than you would just like any old person.
Eventually, I got up and went to the bathroom, and when I came back, he was gone. She decided to tell me that she thought I was rude, which was not what I was all about hearing at that moment. I told her that this wasn't the time or place to talk about it, but rest assured we would talk about it later. She sat there and then said that she was going to change clothes, and as soon as she got back, she was telling her sister that we were leaving because I had ruined her day, but she didn't want me to ruin her sister's day as well. I told her that I was perfectly capable of not being a bother to her or her sister the rest of the day, and that I did not want to be the cause of any drama, so I would prefer to just stay.
Of any drama. He is
making so much less drama than he could be right now.
And I hate how she's like, look at what he's doing. He's ruining the day. I have to leave. And man's just like sitting there.
He's just sitting there, man. She went and changed clothes and then came back all in a huff. Now I understand I have not said a word to her. I even shook the other guy's hand. I guess I just looked miserable, so that's what she was basing this off of. She was adamant about not staying, and so I said that if she really wanted to go, we could go. But if she would rather stay, I would be happy to stay, or if she would like, since I came in my own car, I would leave so she could stay. She at first said that we should stay, but then said if I couldn't act any better, I should leave. I asked how I was acting, and she said it was obvious I was trying to be like a silverback gorilla wanting to fight.
What? What?
She said it was obvious, Sam.
Silverback gorilla.
It was obvious.
Yes, Sam.
I don't want. Oh, okay.
I didn't know whether to laugh in her face or be offended. I went back in and sat down while she mingled with the other guests. I talked with her brother for a while, but then ultimately ended up back at our table talking with her grandma.
Would you leave or would you stay?
I would have confronted her way earlier.
Yeah. But I mean, you also don't want to derail the wedding too, you know?
Sure, but he found out before the wedding started.
Like you would have said something before. Oh, he didn't, but he didn't do quick maths.
That's true.
Yeah, he was buffering for a while. So like,
I think I would leave the wedding.
You would leave the wedding?
Yeah. And then confront after.
Yeah, I feel like I wouldn't be chill enough to stay at the wedding. I feel like I would feel terrible.
Yeah.
I'd be sad and I'd probably want to cry a little bit.
We leave at the same time, and I arrived home just before she did. I was sitting in the living room waiting on her when she came in and did not beat around the bush. I simply asked her to retell me the story about this other guy, and she said it word for word like before. After sitting and looking at her for a time, I just said, "Are you sure about the time frame?" And she said she was.
Oh, God.
I then reminded her that we have been together for 5 years. So this fling was well over a year into our being together. What happened next, I can't really put into words. Finally.
Yes.
Finally.
It's about darn time. Man has been holding that card just sitting on it. Just sitting on it like a little hot coal, and I'm ready for it to breathe.
What happened next, I can't really put into words. Instead of being flustered or denying or anything, she simply said, "I know. Sorry, she didn't get the math wrong. She just doesn't care. She just doesn't care."
Audacity.
So I asked her to explain. And she tells me that they work together and that it was just a physical thing.
It was just a physical thing.
That's cheating. Oh, I'm sick of this.
Who is this woman?
Who is this person? She is. Does she not know the rules of engagement? The rules of dating? That is cheating. You've just described cheating. And when Aya says, "Run, my guy."
Run. And she felt like we weren't in a great place at the time and that she never had any feelings for him and never had any real intentions of leaving me. She just was having some fun for a few weekends. She
said
that it was
a theme park.
She said that it was probably a mistake on her part. Probably.
She's not even admitting it's a mistake. She's like, "Oh, no, I did a good thing. I did a good."
Oh, sorry. I didn't finish that sentence.
Oh.
She said it was probably a mistake on her part to tell me now, but she didn't want me to get blindsided.
Yeah, she's like, "I should have just never told you."
I did not take this the way she thought I would, I guess. We had a very large argument and ended when she told me I was being a child about all of this.
You cheated.
I feel like she's treating him like a child in the sense of like when a child falls down and instead of being like, "Oh my God, are you okay? Like, are you hurt?" Being like, "You're good.
You're chilling.
Oh, look at you." And the child's like, "Oh, I guess I am good.
I am good, yeah."
I feel like that's what she was hoping for. She's like, "Yeah, I cheated on you." So that we were married and this happened way before that. And that our life together now has nothing to do with him or that time. Well, 2 things. One I adamantly disagree with about this has no bearing on us. She effing cheated on me and doesn't even have the goddamn decency to feel guilty about it. 2, I hate being told I'm childish when I get upset over something. It pisses me off to no end because that is her way of acting superior to me. I told her I needed time to think, and she told me there was nothing to think about. We loved each other, and this didn't change anything. Girl, he doesn't love you anymore. That was 2 weeks ago, and I still am not over it. She's been trying the past few days to get me to talk to her, but I admit that for whatever reason, I'm not viewing her the same as I did before. Whatever reason.
Cheated. She
cheated on you.
That's the reason.
Part of me is like, this is stupid. It happened a few years ago and we're married now and there hasn't been any problems at all. But then part of me is like, I just found out she cheated on me and it hurts like a mother effer. And what makes it worse is that instead of trying to understand how I feel, she's trying to guilt me into just not even thinking about it. I don't know what to do. And there is an update, folks.
I mean, I think
Boy,
maybe if she said, I cheated on you and I'm sorry and I want to work through this, you could get therapy or you could have long conversations with each other and work towards, you know, a relationship that feels good. It would damage it for sure, but maybe you could work towards something.
Yeah.
But you can't work towards something if she doesn't even admit that this is an issue or a problem.
Exactly.
Like no amount of therapy, no amount of conversation will fix someone who just will not admit to anything.
She doesn't think that she's done anything wrong.
And that, I think, honestly, like usually we're like, hey, you know, get a little therapy and then maybe divorce. I feel like this is like going to go straight to divorce because she's not willing to work on it.
No. I mean, if she cannot even admit, well, she admitted so readily that she cheated on you because she didn't even see a problem with
She
it.
didn't see dude. And with that, I mean, that's some like,
But there is an update,
psychopath
folks.
behavior.
Yeah. Update. First, I want to clarify something from my first post that I really did not spell out very well. It doesn't have any real bearing on anything, but for some reason it bugs me that I made this part sort of murky. The maid of honor, not my wife, was married to the groomsman who my wife walked down the aisle with. There were some people who felt my wife was trying to arrange the dance, but I do know for a fact that this part was legit. However, it doesn't mean she didn't try and offer to let them dance or any other form of manipulation.
She's kind of gaslighting him.
Yeah, she is gaslighting
She's like, it's
him.
not a big deal. Like, we weren't even married. We were just in a relationship. Like, get over it.
Yeah. But we're going to get into this. So the maid of honor, not my wife, was married to the groomsman who my wife walked down the aisle with. There were some people who felt my wife was trying to arrange the dance, but I know for a fact that this part was legit. However, it doesn't mean she didn't try and offer to let them dance or any other form of manipulation, but I just wanted to try and clear that part up a little. I'm here because I have gotten, honest to God, over 40 requests for an update since last week. Thank you for your guys' concern on this, and I wish I had some real ballsy statement to make about how I stood tall and to the curb, but sadly, that is just not what happened.
No, OP have standards, for the love of God.
To be blunt, I'm in limbo. There have been developments, but all they have done is make it harder for me to decide. Last week, I was mostly angry. Then as the weekend progressed, I became mostly sad.
Oh,
I want to be able to hate her and flip that switch that tells me I'm being walked on and am a sucker. But it's just very hard for me to do that because I still love her and this is ripping me apart. Here's what has happened of any consequence. She finally came to the realization that I was not going to just get over this. This then brought her to the realization that I might want out of the marriage. This then brought on a near nervous breakdown from her. Someone, hell a lot from the first post, stated that she would try and manipulate me like that, and believe me, I was taking those words to heart when I thought she was having crocodile tears. But it soon became apparent to me that she wasn't acting or faking. She was having a legitimate panic attack.
Oh, maybe she finally realizes that her actions have consequences.
Maybe.
Wow.
This led to an ER visit, and that led to an overnight stay in the hospital, and then to new medications and a scheduled follow-up with her doctor for later next week.
Okay, so she's not faking it.
Okay, so she's not
She's
faking it.
a really
this
good
time.
actor, actually.
This brought her family into it, and that in turn led to long conversations all the way around. When we got home with her family in tow, I asked what she wanted to do since there was a house full of people, and she said she wanted to be with her mom for a while. That was fine with me, as I had no desire to hang around all day with her dad or sister, so I said I was going to finish up something at work and would be home later. 2 hours after I get there, I get a text from her begging me to please come home and that she really needs me to talk with her. So I finish up what I was doing and head home. I am greeted on my own front porch by her dad, who asks if he can talk to me for a minute. My anger level was already somewhat high, but I was ready to go to war if she had dumped a crap sack of lies on me with her dad. I mean, it's not like he and I are best friends and crap, but I've never had a bad moment with him, so I really wasn't going to be happy about the beaster who broke his baby's heart.
Yeah.
We sat on our deck chairs, and he effing floored me with his opening salvo. He said that she told them what had happened and that he wanted to apologize to me because he said that he felt like he did a really crappy job as a parent and that this mindset that she had was really a creation of her mother's. Gotta blame it on the mom. And
Gotta
that while
blame
he
someone.
loved both of them, he said they were wrong. And he had told his wife years ago that telling the girls that whatever happens before marriage doesn't count was a horrible idea.
Ooh, that's what they said?
And value system to instill in them. Yeah.
Bro, what does that say about your own marriage?
Yeah.
What does that say? Dude, she was probably cheating on you left and right before you got married.
I'm sorry, if someone says, if your partner says to someone else, no, don't worry, anything before the marriage doesn't count, I would be like, wait.
I do know people with moms that have said
I hate those.
something along those lines.
I hate
And
that.
it is whack.
Yeah. He then said that he wasn't there to stand up for what his daughter did, but he just wanted me to be aware that what she was saying and how she was acting was simply because she honestly believed that being married was an entirely different life, and that they, mom and dad, had romanticized marriage to the point that she wasn't understanding real life. Basically, he was kind of throwing his wife under the bus, but again, this is not what I was expecting at all. We shook hands, and he said that no matter what I decided, he still thought very highly of me, which honestly made me feel really good for that moment.
Hey, you know what? Honestly,
I'll take it.
I feel like this is as good of a conversation you're going to get from
Yeah.
Daddy-O as you can.
I then went inside, and my wife is curled up in a ball on her mom's lap, and you can tell she's been crying the entire time I've been gone. Mom gets up and comes and hugs me and tells me she's sorry and that she loves me, and she's
But it
praying that
didn't
we can
count.
work this out.
But you know the rule, it doesn't count.
Doesn't count.
It only counts if it's marriage.
My wife is laid out on the couch at this point. Her mom and dad leave, and she sits there looking at me and crying. Okay, this is where I'm going to piss off everybody and just
No.
tell you that I couldn't take it.
No! Noodle spine! OP! Noodle spine!
No! I went to her and we hugged for a long time with her
No.
telling me over and over how
No.
sorry she was. Hey, I know it was the weak thing to do, but again, I have to say in my defense that just before this incident occurred, I loved her with all my heart
Oh,
and would have done anything to not see her in pain.
oh.
Whatever she had done, I still didn't want to see her like that. Look, it's very possible that she was putting on an Oscar-worthy acting job, but I honestly don't think so. She really seemed broken at this point in time. After a while, when she calmed down, I asked her what she wanted me to come home and talk about, and she said she wanted to get everything out in the open so I didn't feel like I was being lied to or manipulated.
Dude, we're going to get the truth. I think it's going to be multiple people.
Yeah.
It's not just this one guy. I think it's going to be, all right, wait,
Well,
3 people. I think it's going to be three people.
I think it's going to be
Yeah.
8. I think if she has the mindset that it doesn't count before marriage, then she's
gallivanting around town.
she had 2 years of not marriage.
Yeah, that's a long time.
So she wanted me to ask her questions, and I wish I had written down a list, but I came up with a few off the top of my head. She was brutally honest with me, and some of the questions I asked, I probably shouldn't have.
Come on, give me the answers,
Because
man.
now the mental image is stuck in there.
Ugh.
But honestly, it was there anyway. I just now have confirmation.
Oh,
First, I asked for dates, or at the very least, approximate dates. I didn't tell her about the engagement concern I had because I didn't want her to change stories, and she remembered exactly when they occurred. Fortunately, this happened a little earlier in our relationship than she told me initially, And so we were not engaged when this happened. I can't tell you what a relief that was because I became physically ill when I thought about that when someone said it in my last post.
I guess a small win.
Sure.
Woo!
I second asked how many times. She went overboard with this because instead of just telling me how many different dates, she decided to tell me how many times there was penetration.
What?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yo.
What do you mean? How many times there's penetration?
She kept tabs? She's a number counter?
This part of the conversation did not help me at all, and in fact almost broke me down. In truth, it wasn't that often, and in fact, there were really only 3 different days it happened on, but there were several times during those 3 days.
Nice.
Then came the hard stuff.
Oh, God.
Oh, nice.
That was the easy stuff?
Why did she
No.
do it? Okay, again, I'm not the most manly of men, and I'm ashamed to admit this, but I couldn't get this out without starting to cry. I asked, why wasn't I good enough?
No.
Why him? Why did she not just leave me?
I feel like those are pick-me questions.
Why him?
Oh, you don't ask those questions, man. Spine up, man.
It was her
Spine
turn
up.
to told me because at this point, everything came rushing at me. Her telling me having to watch them laugh with each other, her now telling me how many times they did it and where they did it. She
Yeah.
talked during this, but to this moment,
Here's the
I have
video.
no idea what she said. I was too upset, and honestly, nothing she was going to say was going to make any bit of difference anyway. But after I composed myself, I simply told her that the betrayal was horrible. But honestly, her response to me when I found out was just as bad, if not worse.
I think worse.
Much worse.
Much worse.
I'm much worse.
Ugh.
She agreed with me and she apologized for calling me immature. She said that she honestly believed that it wouldn't matter to me now because we were married. When she said this, my blood started to boil again. I started to say something about it, but she jumped in and said that after talking with her parents, she now sees that this was very wrong of her and that cheating is cheating, but she still feels like that our happiness that we have shared since being married should count for something. I then replied that I kind of felt like that happiness was built on a lie, because it was.
It was. He thought you were being all, truthful. And you weren't. He thought you were being loyal. And you weren't.
This led to another breakdown on her part and almost another ER visit. But between Ativan and having her breathe into a paper sack, we got her calmed down. Okay, probably anxiety meds.
Yeah.
I let her sleep the rest of the night, feeling like emotionally we were both tired. But come Sunday, we were talking again. By this time, I wasn't as sympathetic as I had been when we got home from the ER. I told her that I thought her introducing him to me was crappy. Me having to watch her dance with him was extra crappy.
It was.
And the fact that she only told me because she was going to get caught was an elite level of crappy.
Yeah,
which-
I just don't know if I have any indication that she has improved as a person.
I don't
feel like
think
she's just
so.
trying to get what she wants.
I don't think it's possible for her to improve as a person if 2 minutes ago she was like, yeah, well, so what?
So what?
Which then I demanded to know, why did she think I would find out and how many of the effing people at the wedding knew besides me?
Oh, that's even worse. That's even more embarrassing.
Yeah,
it's like
that
one
everyone
thing
knows
to
that
cheat.
she's been
It's
cheated.
another
Yeah.
thing to have everyone know that you're a little
5
cuck.
years. 5 years later.
Ooh.
Well, obviously the guy knew, but then his best friend in the world also knew.
Oh.
Did I mention that the effer is now my brother-in-law?
Oh,
Which then led to her sister finding out, and she was
Oh.
afraid her sister was going to be the one to tell me.
oh.
At least her sister seems like a good person.
Mm.
I asked how often she sees this guy, and she said that the wedding is the first time she's seen him in 3 years. Then I lost my crap and asked her if she effed him during any of the lead up to the wedding.
Oh.
Fair question.
Oh.
She got all pissy about it, acting like she wouldn't F anyone because she was married.
Oh.
Right. Marriage is the only, apparently.
That's the only line
Yeah.
you're drawing.
And I just lost my crap and had to leave for a while because once again, I felt like she was living on Married Planet or some such crap. And the world there is a different place than for the rest of us. I finally got cooled off enough to come home and try and be civil about things. She finally asked me what she could do to help me get past all of this, which may not sound like much, but it was the first time she offered to help me, really, so it was at least a nice gesture. I told her I wasn't sure what she could do or if there was anything either of us could do, and that I may never get over this. By the way, you should never get over listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. Wow. At least OP's done. There's a little bit more, but it seems like OP's like, I'm not
I don't
continue.
know. I thought the last person was done and they just crawled.
And then they
I guess they did. They crawled back, but then they crawled away.
Out.
Yeah.
They crawled back into the hole and then they crawled out of the hole. So hopefully OP stays out of that hole.
In more ways than one.
Ah, no.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
All right, give us the finish of that story.
She said that she wanted to help because she didn't want to see me in pain, and that over the years she hopes I'll be able to judge her based on who she is now, the same person. She would do anything I wanted to work this out. She also wanted to be sure that I knew that she has been 100% faithful since we've been married and would never cheat on her vows. I sarcastically thanked her, which I admit wasn't the most mature thing to do. Give yourself a break, man.
Dude, I feel like you need some space. Also, stop asking all these masochistic questions.
Stop.
You're just going to hurt yourself.
I then asked for a moratorium from further talks till at least Wednesday. I have 2 projects I have to get done, and honestly, I'm just exhausted, and no, I have no effing clue what I want to do. I shift between periods of red-hot anger where I want to punt her out, and the periods of deep emotional turmoil where I want to just forget this and move forward with her. Yes, I know this is not what anyone wanted to hear, and no, I'm not proud to type it, but it is what it is at the moment. And that's the end of that story.
Disgusting.
Disgusting.
Ugh.
My partner's friend made me wear a wig for their wedding. It made me miserable. Do you wear wigs? My partner, Joe, 24 male, and I, 24 female, have been together for 8 years and married for just under a month.
Whoa.
Yay! Jay's best friend, Seth, 23 male, and I have known each other since before Joe and I met. By the way, this comes from Remarkably Proper, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, about 1.5 years after Joe and I started dating, Seth started seeing Mia, 23 female, and the double dates commenced. I've never been a huge fan of Mia since she's the type of person to eat 3/4 of her meal at a restaurant, then complain to the waitstaff until they comp the meal, among other things. In the summer of 2021, Seth bought a house for himself and Mia that needed a lot of work due to prior flooding. My partner and I went out there, and Joe and Seth did some work on the plumbing and subfloor. A few other times, Joe went out there to help with other stuff, and by the end of 2021, Seth had the place renovated into a pretty nice house. He and Mia invited us and some of our friends from the friend group out there for a New Year's party. They have a pretty nice detached garage pole barn situation. So they got it set up with adult soda pong and speakers and stuff, meaning people were going back and forth from the pole barn to the house. At one point, it was just Seth and I in the house mixing drinks, and he confided in me that he wasn't entirely happy in his relationship. He talked about how Mia called him names, laughed at him, yelled at him, etc., and asked what he should do. I said what my partner would have said: we have a spare bedroom if you need it. Every time we went out to Seth and Mia's house, Seth would find a way to confide these things in me. They gradually grew worse, too. She threw stuff at him, slammed doors so hard they break off their hinges, stuff like that. Every time I'd remind him we had a spare bedroom, but I couldn't outright tell him to leave her. It didn't feel like my place to make that call. Don't get me wrong, I definitely told him he deserved better, but I wanted him to connect the dots for himself.
That's fair.
In October 2022, while at a Halloween party, Seth showed me a picture of the engagement ring he'd gotten. I don't remember much of the conversation beyond him asking if his proposal plans sounded good. I told him yes, I congratulated him, I did all the things I thought a friend should do. A month later, there are beautiful photos all over Facebook announcing the engagement and announcing that the wedding date was set for October 2023. In February 2023, Mia asked me to stand as a bridesmaid in her wedding, and I genuinely was shocked. We didn't talk much, even at their house parties. My partner, of course, was asked to be the best man, and he instantly accepted. I didn't know what to say. They'd asked us in front of the rest of the wedding party, and I hadn't been expecting it at all, so I accepted too. It made me nervous thinking about it, but if that's what they wanted, then I was gonna do my dangdest to make this wedding work for them. Despite everything Seth had told me, it wasn't my place to cause a scene about it. In March, Mia asked me to make sure my hair was a normal color for the wedding. It's worth mentioning that at the time, my hair was a light lavenderish color, and I'm no stranger to impulsively dyeing my hair a vibrant color. I told her I'd of course make sure it was a normal color, but she'd have to tell me what color. In honesty, because my hair is always a different color, the request didn't bother me much beyond lamenting having to grow out whatever color she told me to go with. Crap really started to hit the fan in August on the bachelorette weekend trip. The drive up was about 2 hours, and Mia spent most of it telling us about the latest wedding drama, that her parents had decided to take all of the money they'd been setting aside for a wedding venue and use it to refurbish their pole barn. Not the pole barn again.
Not the pole barn.
Mia's parents were demanding that Mia and Seth work long hours pouring concrete, putting up walls, and retiling roofs, so the wedding could be held there. Mia talked about how their mother had been especially rude and condescending about the whole thing, calling her an ungrateful witch when Mia talked about wanting the wedding to be somewhere else. I felt so bad for her, and I felt even worse when Mia's mother, along with 8 of her friends, crashed the bachelorette weekend. We were outnumbered in this Airbnb to the point that I had to sleep on the floor.
Oh boy.
There were 9 women, all 50 or older, impeding on Mia's bachelorette weekend. Wasted the entire weekend throwing up on the lake of the paddle boat they crammed all 9 of themselves onto kind of way. Mia had been looking forward to one of those lazy river situations where you rent a bunch of inner tubes and coast down a river and all that.
Fun.
The morning of, though, these women decided it should be put to a vote whether they went. No doubt because some of them were still wasted and some were hungover. And the overall consensus was to skip the tubing that all the bridesmaids had already paid for and instead hang out at the Airbnb.
Dang.
That's so messed up. I mean, Mia seems like she's maybe not a good person, but this is her.
This is your money that you already spent.
I grabbed a few pre-rolls from my luggage, took Mia by the arm, and sat out on the porch with her. We shot the crap about everything, not just the awful turnout of the batch party, but everything else. I felt like we really connected out there, talking about our partners and their friendship and what it would have been like when we had kids and they'd have an extra uncle and aunt. For a long time, I thought Seth and Mia would be the godparents to my husband and my kids. A month before the wedding, Mia called an emergency bridal party meeting at their house. Per usual, my partner and I were the first ones there. Once the rest of the bridal party got there, minus Seth's little sister, she was left out of the bachelorette party too. We talked about the schedule of the day and how the bridal party would make entrances to the venue. At one point, Mia, who was quite wasted by then, pulled me aside and reminded me about the hair color. My hair at the time was split-dyed red and pink. I asked her what color she wanted me to go with, and she said, "Copper would look so good on you." About a week and a half before the wedding, I went out and got a brownish copper hair dye and did the job. Since I colored my hair pretty frequently, it wasn't the healthiest, and I tried my best to do hair masks and stuff to make sure it wasn't too brittle for styling on the day of the wedding. Then, a week before the wedding, my partner proposed to me. I, of course, posted pictures all over Facebook, and my hair in the pictures was copper. The Tuesday before the wedding, Mia texted me and asked if the color of my hair in those photos was how it would be for her wedding day. I said yes, and reminded her that I'd asked her what color to do, and she had told me copper. She denied ever telling me that, and that she would never have suggested copper, since my dress was cinnamon colored. She told me to send her a picture of myself wearing the dress so she could see if the colors clashed too badly. Before I could even send a photo of myself in the dress, she told me to just dye my hair an actual normal color.
Girl, are you going to pay for it?
Also, like, OP's already said that her hair, is pretty unhealthy right now, so that probably wouldn't be great.
Like,
probably look worse if
copper,
she tried to dye it again so quickly.
And copper is like, that is an actual
That's
normal
natural color.
So, and also, like, no, I would not do that again. Like, it's already so big that OP would do that in the first place to her. Like, that's very nice of her to do.
Yeah.
Because that's expensive, too.
Yeah.
Especially, like, if she's going to want to go back to, pink or purple or pink or red, like, depending on how dark it is, that will be so hard to come back from. So it's like, girl, no, I'm not going to change my hair color for you again for your wedding for one day. No. This turned into a massive back and forth of me telling her that I didn't have the money or time to go and get my hair redone. And I was afraid if I dyed my hair again so soon, it'd break off and be even more awful. I offered to step out of frame for her pictures. I offered to have my hair up so it wasn't touching the dress. I offered to suggest her photographer that they color correct my hair. Her mind was made up, though. She told me she'd have me wear a wig for the entire day. I told her I certainly couldn't afford a high-quality wig, and she told me she'd pay for it.
The entire bridal party had gotten a text from Seth and Mia requesting all of us be at the venue about an hour and 45-minute drive at noon the Friday before the wedding to help do final touches before the rehearsal dinner at 5. Of the entire bridal party, my partner and I were the only ones who showed up at noon. Everyone else didn't show up until 5 or later. We went up to Seth to greet him, and the first thing he said to us, "Is it too late to call it off?"
The wedding?
Dude, I don't like Seth either. Dude, you're telling your friends this whole time that you freaking hate this woman and don't want to be in a relationship with her.
Yeah.
And then say, is it too, call it off.
Just call it off. It's never too late because now then you're going to be stuck.
You're going to be, literally leave her.
You're going to be, having a kid and you're going to be like, is it too late to get a divorce? It's like,
leave her.
Just get
leave
out
her
of there.
now. You should have left her earlier. You should leave her now. She's clearly unhealthy. You do not want to be in a relationship with this person.
Exactly.
Wrestling Mama says he's afraid. Yeah, of course. This, maybe there are a lot of different reasons why he might be, not able to or feel like he's not able to leave this relationship. But you are able to leave this relationship.
Yeah, just please.
Leave it. Leave it. And in proper supportive fashion, we told him no, reminded him of our spare bedroom. I'd had a nightmare the night before of the maid of honor attacking me when she saw my hair. So when she finally showed up around 5:30 and came right up to me, I nearly pissed myself. She held out her hand and pointed to her ring finger. It dawned on me that I had indeed gotten engaged a few days prior. Easy to forget, given all the other stuff going on. And I held out my hand so she could see the ring. She gushed about how beautiful it was, and she told me she needed to talk to me outside after the rehearsal. Fair enough. I confided in her when we stepped outside that I was terrified she wanted to beat me up, and she told me the whole story of the texts. How she had told Mia not to send them and to let her handle it. How her work friends had read all the screenshots Mia sent and thought she was taking things way too far. We talked for a long time, and at the end of it, she said she'd check with Mia on where the wig situation stood. Before the end of the night, she pulled me aside again and confirmed that Mia wanted me to wear the wig the entire night and that she wouldn't settle for an updo or anything of the sort. The maid of honor then invited me to spend the night with the rest of the bridesmaids at Mia's house, which I politely declined. I was expected at a salon about an hour from my house the next morning at 8 a.m., and I arrived at 7:45 just to be safe. The rest of the bridesmaids, along with the bride, all showed up shortly thereafter. The salon is owned by one of M's mom's cousins, who also happened to be at the bachelorette weekend. She was one of the dumb butts puking off the side of the paddle boat. She got me in a chair before I even set my bag down, and by 8 a.m., I had the most hideous wig slapped on my head.
Oh, gosh.
Yikes. She didn't even style it, didn't even bobby pin it down. It took 10 minutes max. The other bridesmaids got their hair styled in super cute curls and waterfall braids, and I sat there with an unstyled, unflattering wig on my head that wasn't even properly covering my hairline.
Oh my gosh. Mia doesn't have any experience with wigs.
We got our makeup done at the salon too by a different lady. When I sat down in the chair, she asked me if I was okay because nobody was speaking to me. I asked her if the makeup was waterproof or anything, and she told me to just try my best not to cry. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Oh Lord. She ended up doing my makeup pretty quickly too. And in all, I spent maybe half an hour in a salon chair. The other bridesmaids had way more time for hair and makeup, and between the way the wig looked and the fact that none of them would even look at me, I excused myself to go out to my car. I have never cried the way I did in that car.
Aww.
I called Joe, who was riding with the groomsman I was going to walk down the aisle with. I tipped my head down so the tears wouldn't leave tracks in my foundation.
Oh my gosh.
I cried that I wanted to go home and that I couldn't keep doing this. I told them how I felt like I was back in middle school and high school being bullied, all because I did what the bride told me to do. I dyed my hair the color she told me to dye it. He reminded that I wasn't standing in the wedding for Mia, but for Seth, who doesn't even want to be there.
Yeah, this poor man. Mia is just, she's got her claws in everyone, just controlling everyone.
Leave her. Leave her.
Yes.
But the problem is now we're at the wedding day, and now he's going to be the guy that left the girl at the altar if he does that.
Well, good.
She sucks.
Still, yeah, definitely would suck. But
not
like,
great optics, though, for him.
Right.
Everyone's going to be like, wow, you left a woman at the altar, which
but
sucks.
it's like, well, I needed to.
But you show
Sorry,
him, any girl he would date, you just show him the story and they'll be like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
Show him this podcast.
See how crazy she was?
I told him I couldn't even do it for Seth because Seth knew about the situation. Joe hadn't talked to him about it and wasn't willing to stand up for me, which I'm not saying I expected him to stand up to his soon-to-be wife for another woman, but it doesn't change the fact that I couldn't handle the pressure and the bullying. Joe told me that I should do it for him and that after this, we'd figure it out. After the ceremony, Al, the groomsman I had walked with, caught me crying. We were all supposed to be taking photos, and I couldn't stop thinking about how these people were supposed to be the godparents to our future children.
Aww.
And they couldn't even stand to have me in the photos without a wig on my head. And went into the house and came out with one of those little pocket-sized shooters of Pink Whitney for me.
Nice.
After dinner, I slipped out to go to the bathroom, i.e. cry a bit more and call my mom. My mom told me to take the wig off and get a ride home, and that it wasn't worth it. I told her Mia was making me keep it on the entire night. Before she could really convince me to get the heck out of there, Joe tracked me down. He didn't know what to say. He just held me for a while, then told me I had to come back because they were starting speeches. Joe sucks too. I'm gonna say it. Joe sucks.
Yeah.
I understand he wants to be there for his friend, but his friend doesn't want to be there. Your
Yeah.
girlfriend doesn't want to be there. She's been bullied into wearing a stupid wig.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shortly after the dancing really got going and the sun had fully set, Al started asking me if it hurt if he yanked the wig off. I told him they hadn't even bothered to pin the dang thing up.
Oh my gosh.
I told him not to because I didn't want to face the wrath of Mia. He asked me if I would rather spend the rest of the night miserable, and I shrugged a shoulder and told him to do whatever he wanted. He yanked the wig off and tossed it on one of the empty tables, then told me,
Yay.
if Seth or Mia have a crap to say, you tell them to come say it to me. Al is way better than your boyfriend.
Yay, we love Al. Good job,
Al. Al's the only person in the story besides OP who's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Everyone else kind of sucks.
Like, I think she knows that obviously Mia is like a terrible friend now. But if you don't want to take off a wig because you're scared of what your friend is going to say, then like
yeah.
that is not someone that you should be near at all in
Nope.
any capacity.
Nope. And people who are telling you that you have to be near them,
Yeah.
not cool. Few of the wedding guests even came up to me and said that my hair, despite being braided tightly to my head for the wig to lay on top, looked much better like this.
Aw.
In the days following the wedding, Mia started sharing photos to Facebook, but none of them had me in them. I couldn't tell if I was more relieved to not have to see the palpable misery on my face, or furious that she had me put on a wig just to exclude my face from all the posts anyway. I fell into this horrible despair. I thought I'd be relieved to be done, but instead I was left with this gaping feeling. My partner and I had just stood for his best friend and my close friend on the most important day of his life, and we had nothing to show for it. There would be no showing our kids photos from Aunt Mia and Uncle Seth's wedding day because that wasn't me in the photos, and even if it was, they didn't bother to send us any photos from the day at any point. 2 weeks after Seth and Mia's wedding, we were hosting a Halloween party. Partly as a gift to the newlyweds, and partly because they usually hosted Halloween and we wanted to give them a break. They said they would come, but the night before the party, they canceled on us. As frustrated as I was to be throwing this party for them, only for them to cancel, I can't say I wasn't a little relieved. I didn't know how to talk to either of them after that day, and I didn't want to be forced to figure it out quite yet. The beginning of November, a month and a half after the wedding day, Joe sent Seth and Mia a message in a group chat without me in it. The message reiterated that they are always welcome at our house. We were hosting a Friendsgiving at that end of November and had extended the invitation to them, but that we were both incredibly hurt by what went down with the wedding. Joe requested an apology for the hurt I was put through, especially after Mia told me to dye my hair copper, then tried to tell me she never would have said that. Mia responded that I was just mad because I didn't get what I wanted, that we were asinine if we thought she'd see my ugly butt hair and do anything other than throw a wig on my head,
God.
that she wouldn't apologize for something she's not sorry for.
Girl, get me on the phone with this Mia. Give me her address. I'm gonna pull up. Give her some words. Oh my goodness gracious.
The following day, Seth called Joe to apologize. Apparently, he told Mia not to send the message. He told Joe that he thought I owed Mia an apology for taking the wig off. During the phone call, Seth said something along the lines of being done with the friend group, that he only wanted to hang out with Joe over all of it. The friend group, who already didn't have the best impression of Mia even before all the crap went down, was unanimously fine with that decision. The day after Seth and Joe's call, Mia sent me a one-on-one message, a novel, about how she would have dyed her hair whatever color I wanted for my wedding because there are temporary colors and it fade eventually. She also accused me of not knowing her well enough to be saying what I was about her mother back during the bachelorette trip, that I was being stuck up and so on and so forth. I typed up a similar length response, and I'm proud to say I kept it civil. I reminded her that I did dye my hair the exact color she wanted, that I just refused to do it a second time in fear of frying my hair or making it look worse. I apologized for what I'd said about her mother, but I also told her that if I didn't know her well enough to talk honestly with her about something that was deeply troubling her, I never should have been standing in the wedding in the first place. Great point. I told her that if I was stuck up, I would have taken myself home instead of still standing in the wedding party, despite everything she put me through. It took 2 days for Mia to respond, and she replied with, "After processing, I feel like I owe you an apology." What? Girl.
But that was it.
Yeah.
I read ahead a little bit.
I feel like I owe, okay. End of
but-
message.
I feel like I owe you an apology. And then
Didn't
proceeds
actually
to
give
not apologize.
apology.
Yeah, what? This girl, man. This girl.
End of message. We expected to see them at Friendsgiving and try to smooth things over in person, but Seth texted Joe a literal hour before they were supposed to arrive and said that Mia wanted to go look at Christmas lights in a city almost 2 hours away. Joe was faced with the impossible decision as we grew closer to planning our own wedding of whether Seth could be his best man. Ultimately, Seth made the decision for him by blocking me on Facebook and removing me from his contacts on everything. For a long time, that was it. Seth and Mia were strangers to us. We didn't even invite them to our wedding. Oof. The reason I hash this all out now, though, is that I'm left with an impossible situation and I need help. In March of this year, about 2 months before Joe and my wedding, Seth called Joe while Joe was at work and asked what had happened to them. Joe asked if he was joking, and when he realized Seth wasn't, he laid it all out. The wig, the non-apology, the name-calling, all of it. Apparently, Seth and Mia don't have anyone to hang out with anymore. Wonder why. Mostly due to the way they treated me. Seth must have taken notes during this phone call or something, because a day or so later, Seth sent a long apology to Joe for me. Apparently, Mia had written that apology that I needed over a year and a half ago, gave it to Seth, and Seth gave it to Joe. Joe had been looking for the right time to tell me about it.
For a year and a half?
Joe, again, I don't like Joe.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with
She
this
sent an
Joe.
apology. I mean, yeah, you don't have to accept it, but the fact that he hid it for a year?
Yeah.
He said it sounds sort of legit, but he also admitted that it sounds like Seth had written it himself. All of this with the intention of Seth and Joe hanging out together, which, let me be clear, I never prevented. I encouraged Joe to keep up with Seth. I just didn't want anything to do with him. The moment Mia had that wig put on my head, it's like she and Seth became strangers to me. So that's why I'm here. I haven't read the apology, and my partner said he wouldn't blame me if I never wanted to read it. Even typing this all out is reminding me the kind of emotional turmoil they put me through over this. What's the play? Do I read the apology? It sounds like Seth and Mia want to go back to double dating and house parties like before. Is that a possibility? I genuinely don't think I could ever look either one of them in the eye again, but do I owe it to them and to my partner to try? And there is an update.
Oh gosh.
It seems like the apology was it doesn't seem like he hid it for a year and a half. It seems like they sent it a year and a half later. I think I misunderstood that.
Okay. That part
Yeah.
was written weird. Poor Seth.
Yeah. I mean, he's obviously stuck in this situation
Sure.
that he feels like he cannot escape from.
Exactly.
However, doesn't mean that that excuses him from treating everyone terribly.
Sure. But I can also understand if, like, you know, the reason that he was like, no, we can't be friends anymore was because
Yeah, what
Mia
she was
was
saying.
just like,
Probably.
you're not going to be a good husband if, like, you know, you don't stand up for me like this or something like that. Something silly Billy like that.
Yeah. She's probably trying to isolate him and has successfully
worked.
done so.
Yeah, exactly. It worked.
I told my husband I'm not going to read the letter. The apology is a year and a half late. And as far as I'm concerned, it's a load of BS intended to get back to being friends with him. If they truly cared about me in this situation, they'd never have called me crazy. They'd have apologized the minute I expressed how hurt I was. They wouldn't have done what they did in the first place. Joe is a huge believer in giving people room to grow and learn from mistakes, which is why he told me about the letter in the first place and not just burned it himself. After our talk, he realizes what kind of damage it would do to me to let Seth and Mia back into our lives, even if they had grown and changed. I don't need to be their human empathy test subject. I truly hope they've become better people, but given they're reaching back out because nobody else will be friends with them, I doubt they have. As for the comments, I had a lot of people asserting that the outcome of this is entirely my fault and that I let myself be walked over, so I deserved everything that came to me. Well, I don't entirely disagree. I do think that even in my long post, there's a lot of context missing. To start, Joe and Seth have been best friends for over 10 years at this point. If I caused a scene at Seth's wedding, even warranted, I feared what it would do to their friendship. The friendship basically ended either way thanks to Seth's wife, but I digress. I wore the wig because I didn't want to rock the boat. I was young and naive and didn't actually think Mia would make me wear a wig until the morning of, when they were slapping a wig on my head and shooing me out of the salon chair. I'd heard from Mia firsthand how much stress she was under due to the wedding and her insane mother, and I thought being a sounding board for her and being there for her would have made her have a change of heart. Instead, I became the target. She couldn't very well bully her mother, so she bullied me instead. There were also a lot of people calling me out about Seth pulling me aside and telling me how unhappy he was. And again, I think you're missing key context. I didn't just tell him we have a spare bedroom for you and leave it at that. I talked at length with him about these things. I told him that he deserved better, that he could come stay with us for as long as he needed to figure things out, that no matter how deep the hole he dug himself felt, we were there to get him out of it. He had a house and pets with Mia. He worked with Mia's dad. She had successfully made herself a part of every piece of his life. And in our conversations, I told Seth that Joe and I could help him detach however he needed. I even told him he was being mistreated, especially when it came to things being thrown and doors being slammed.
Yeah.
But Seth is of the mindset that men can never be the victims of domestic violence, which is not true, Seth. Is not true. I wonder if that mindset has changed by now. I mean, yeah, it seems like he's living in that world of like, oh, well, I can't be a so I have to stay with her.
Yeah, so like this is just me being too sensitive or something.
Which is not true,
So
Seth.
not true.
Please, leave her. Point is, I said everything but outright telling him to leave Mia. Maybe that's what the comments were getting at, is that I should have spelled it out like that. The day before the wedding, Seth asked if it was too late, and Joe and I told him no. We told him he could get in the car and we could drive away with no questions asked. Seth is a grown adult too. He chose what he did. By the way, you can choose to listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. Oof.
Poor Seth.
Yeah.
Poor
I mean, it really
Seth.
sucks because Seth is in a really bad situation and
Yeah.
cannot see it. And you can't force him
Yeah.
to see it.
Yeah, that does have to be something that he has to choose on his own.
Yeah.
So I feel like OP was going about that in the right way. You
Yeah.
know, she's like, we'll be here for you. We'll support you. If you do want to leave, won't ask any questions. We'll just get out of here.
Yeah.
And then obviously, you know, he has to make that decision for himself again.
Yeah.
So,
You guys tried.
yeah.
But you don't deserve for Seth or Mia to mistreat you. So,
Yeah.
there's a little bit more to the story. Lots of people were coming after my husband as well, and I can't lie. Seth and Mia's wedding definitely did some damage to our relationship. I left that situation feeling like no matter how many times Joe told me I was the most important person in his life, there would always be something or someone that could get in the way of that. Things were rocky for a bit. He was apologetic the moment the wedding was over, wishing he'd taken the wig off my head, or gone to the salon and picked me up and taken me home. Hindsight is 20/20, I guess. If either of us had known that no matter what, Seth and Mia were going to completely isolate themselves, I wouldn't have worried so much about preserving Joe and Seth's friendship, and neither would he. At the end of it, though, Joe and I had talked it through. We knew where our priorities lie. The only reason he'd been advocating for me to read the apology letter was for my own peace of mind and my own closure. He respects my decision to leave the note unread and leave Seth and Mia to be unhappily ever after. And folks, that is the end of that story.
I plan to hire security at my wedding to keep my sister out.
Get her out of there!
I, 34 female, got engaged to my childhood crush, 36 male, last year. About a month after getting engaged, my sister, 38 female, we'll call her Lynn, and her boyfriend, 48 male, Kevin, asked if they could move into our basement since they both had got a job transfer 15 minutes from where we live until they found a house. We said sure, since we had ample room and hardly used our basement, except for parties. They moved in and everything was fine for about 6 months. By the way, this comes from user TiredBride2377 on the r/Charlotte Dobre YouTube subreddit. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. 6 months into them living with us, my fiance and I are heavy into the wedding planning and figuring out all the logistics that go along with it. I had asked my sister to be my maid of honor since we had been really close since she had been by my side when I lost my husband about 3 years earlier. I would ask my sister questions or vent to her about things with the wedding, especially the guest list since it was growing out of control.
That's the trouble. You have too many people that you gotta invite to things and you don't know who to pick.
You gotta trim the extra weight there. What you're like, I don't want that. My fiance and I's family are both huge and would be about 600 people if we invited everyone. Lynn has always been very blunt about her opinions and told me that I was being rude to all of our potential guests since we would not have time to spend with each person. Keep in mind, we had not finalized the guest list. That was just our estimated number before knocking people off. In the next few months, after having a conversation about the guest list, she starts making little comments about things I'm doing wrong or ways I'm being a witch for the wedding. I usually just brush them off my shoulder because she has not helped in the day-to-day planning since she's too busy and is making assumptions at this point. My sister eventually stepped down as my maid of honor, stating that she didn't want to be involved in planning a wedding that is going to go bad. So I'd asked my cousin Becky to be my new maid of honor. Becky happily and excitedly agreed and stepped in to help me with every detail, even the boring stuff, as my sister called it. My cousins helped with narrowing down the guest list, figuring out decorations, not needed per my sister, going dress shopping, wear your last dress, and printing and making invitations. Waste of effing time, my sister said. One night, after all the invitations were printed, my cousin and sister-in-law came over to fold paper and stuff envelopes. My sister walked upstairs, looks at us all in disgust, and says that we were all wasting our time. That was my last straw. I sat there trying not to cry and silently folded the paper until my sister-in-law spoke up and asked if that's how it's been lately. Begrudgingly, I said yes, and I'm just about over it all. They gave me a little pep talk to get me to refocus, and we finished the invites. A few days later, my sister-in-law calls me while I'm working. I work from home, and asked how my mental state is and everything my sister had said and done. As I'm explaining it and venting, my sister walks into my office and explodes of fury that I've only seen in movies because I'm lying about the invite situation and that I don't need a second wedding when I've already had one, and so on. I calmly ask her to leave my office, which she does after I asked 5 times, and I proceeded to break down after she storms out shouting that she and my mom wouldn't be in attendance. Later that afternoon, my dad calls me, yes, daddy's girl here, and asks what happened this morning and why my mom isn't invited to the wedding. I, super confused, asked him why he thought that, which he proceeded to tell me everything my sister had told my mom and how I invited them all from the wedding. I told him that wasn't true, and he asked if my fiance and I wanted to go to dinner with them, my mom and dad, that night to talk everything through. I said sure, and we met for dinner. At dinner that night, I'm venting to my parents when all of a sudden, my mom starts crying and walks out of the restaurant. Then my dad tells me that Lynn told my mom, again, Lynn is the sister, told my mom that I didn't want her there for my wedding, which is not true. So I chase after my mom as she's walking down the highway and tell her to get in. I drive back to the restaurant to pick up the men and go home. At home, my dad wants us to all sit down to work things out and talk about what happened, which I'm open to because I thought it would all just blow over and calm down, but instead it got worse. My sister and her boyfriend come up and proceed.
No, why are they there?
Because they're in the basement.
Oh, I thought they were at their parents' house. Okay.
No. They're back at, I think they're back at OP's house.
I was like, why did they come over?
I mean, it's funny because it says my sister and my boyfriend come up from the basement.
Literally just walk up from the basement.
Allowing you to stay there in our goodwill. My sister and her boyfriend come up and proceed to berate me and my fiance for the next 3 hours about how horrible I am. I don't need a second wedding. I'm selfish, and I'm being a witch for planning it the way I'm planning it. I sat there quietly most of the time, just listening until they started in on my fiance and said that they feel bad for him and that he should think twice before marrying someone so selfish. At that point, I stood up for my fiance and asked him if I was actually that bad to him, and if he wanted an out, he had it. He refused and said that I wasn't any of those things. My sister kept going on and on, with my dad defending me with every statement. Okay, good. Dad is defending OP. While my mom sat there quietly. At the end of her blow up, I asked for examples as to how I was all of those things, and she couldn't give me an answer except to tell me that my entire family hated me and thought the same. At that point, I wasn't going to sit there and listen anymore. I got in my car and drove to my sister-in-law's house to spend the night and cool down. Again, is this your house?
Yeah, I was about to say, it sucks that you're leaving your own house because these two people that you welcomed into your house are like verbally attacking you.
Yeah. The next day, I'm so depressed. I turned off my phone and just drove around to think and clear my head. That day, I also called off all wedding planning since I didn't want to do anything wrong. Weeks go by and my sister and I haven't spoken a word to each other, but I found out from my dad that they finally found a house and would be moving out. We were relieved because with them came 3 dogs that bark my every moment during work hours, and 2 cats that refuse to use the litter box. So, I was excited to have 1, have my whole house back, and 2, clean the basement so that it doesn't smell like animal excrements, and 3, wouldn't be a stressful living environment. My fiance and I had a talk that we would resume the wedding planning once they moved out because at that point, I could barely be home and function. I would go to my in-laws to work or study and would sleep in our camper if my fiance was working late. A week before they were to move out, my parents, fiance, and I all go out to dinner again to start making plans and things we needed to do before the wedding, and all goes fine. Later that night, Lynn calls my mom and my dad, overhears them complaining about my wedding, which, keep in mind, neither have been overtly involved in, so they don't know much of what is going on other than the food. Before they hang up on my call, my dad starts yelling at both of them, saying that's not their wedding, it's ours, and that all they need to do is keep their opinions private and offer support. At that point, I had just started feeling better about the wedding as a whole and got back into the planning. Once my dad told me that, I went right back to my hole of crying every day, not eating and barely functioning. By the way, you can function with us by listening to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to your favorite podcast app, Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and search up OK Storytime. There we have so many stories just like this one. And again, there's a little bit more to this story, but Sophia, what is your take?
I just think it's absolutely ridiculous that you've let this, not to say this is on you, but like, can't imagine letting this go on for 6 months.
Yeah.
And like leaving your home, living in a camper, feeling like you can't work in your own home because your guests, who are your family members, are behaving so poorly.
Yeah.
I mean, one, my advice would retroactively would be to kick them out. My advice now is they do not need to come to the wedding if they have made every aspect of the lead up to it impossible.
Just every little thing you did, she never said a single positive thing about it. It was always something negative. We know why. It's she's jealous and she sucks. But imagining that your household is just a war zone for you and it's stressful. And on top of that, wedding planning is supposed to be stressful. That's part of it, but not like this. I would have had a conversation with her like, hey, if you don't change your attitude and make your animals be a little bit more respectful, you're out. You had all the power here and they took that away from you.
Yeah, I mean, you were just like, okay, well, I guess I'm living in the camper now.
Yeah, that's crazy. Now you know, OP, never to let your sister stay with you again. A couple more weeks go by and my sister and boyfriend start packing up to move out. One day, I come home to my brother helping them, but keep to myself since there's been no bad bloods with him, and figured I'd talk to him later. That weekend, we were at a friend's wedding, and I get a plethora of texts from my brother telling me that I hope I'm okay with having a wedding with no family, and that I'm a witch for punting out my sister from the wedding. What?
She keeps lying to everyone in your family. You need to get ahead of this. You need to go to everyone in your family and be like, you're still invited. If you hear from anyone else that you're not invited, they're lying.
And you also have a witness, aka both your mom and your dad, but your mom seems not like a credible source. So you have your dad. I don't know. You need to have a full-on family discussion or a family group chat with your dad taking the helm, like, stop listening to Lynn. At this point, my in-laws are doing most of the planning because I'm scared if I do anything, another family member is going to come striking at me and try to ruin something. Either way, I'm not super excited for this wedding at all because it's been completely stained. My in-laws keep telling me that this is only happening because Lynn is jealous that I'm getting married a second time and found happiness when her boyfriend won't even propose. Yes.
Yep, she's jealous. We found it.
It's very obvious. Would I be the a-hole if I were to hire a few people to keep my sister and her boyfriend from entering my wedding just so I can have one day of peace with my new husband? No.
Why would we want someone who doesn't support you on like one of the most important days of your life?
It'd be so crazy to me that Lynn would try to come to your wedding after all this negative talk of like, no, this wedding sucks. No, don't do your wedding.
Well, after saying that she and everyone else in the family was not invited.
That too. OP, here's my advice. You need to make it clear as day that at least your immediate family, other than your sister, is coming to the wedding?
I want to exclude my cousin from my wedding because he's trouble.
These menacing kids.
Background on my engagement. I, 25 female, and my fiance, Craig, 25 male, got engaged in June of 2024. We've been dating for almost 7 years and have lived together for 3 out of those years. Our wedding is in the fall of 2025. By the way, this comes from user HotPotato0819, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, background on my cousin. Adam, 27 male, was born with a physical disability. He is able to live fully independently, has played multiple sports growing up, drives, and makes his own decisions about his health. My family has been extremely supportive of his achievements, attending sporting events, participating in his team's fundraisers, including him in holidays and attending his birthday parties, facilitating tutoring hours for a college scholarship, connecting him with an executive at a major corporation for an internship, etc., etc. Wow. That's a pretty helpful squad right there.
Yeah.
His mother, Angela, 56 female, and father, Anthony, 56 male, were also extremely supportive of his personal and professional growth, particularly my Aunt Angela. She went above and beyond from the time he was born to ensure he had access to all of the resources and support he could ever need. Aunt Angela and Uncle Anthony are wealthy, so their well-earned joint income made his level of access especially helpful. Unfortunately, the world and the people in it are still cruel, especially to those with disabilities. Adam often felt rejected in romantic relationships and faced bullies throughout middle school and high school. Adam was extremely smart and still maintained academic success on top of athletic involvement. His parents often tried to counteract this cruelty through material things like cruises, gaming systems, shopping sprees, the list goes on. As he got older, this escalated to covering the entirety of his college tuition, fraternity fees, and housing. When he graduated from college, Angela and Anthony gifted him a brand new car. Where the rift started is after he graduated college during the vid, his work ethic and awareness of his financial privilege and physical disability shifted. It became a way to avoid responsibility, particularly at his job. Adam was hired for an out-of-state position at his internship host company after college, but was fired approximately a year later. When my immediate family found out, Adam claimed the company discriminated against him for taking medical leave for an elective surgery related to his disability. Adam was asking for Angela and Anthony's help finding a lawyer to sue the company for wrongful termination. We were shocked to think the executive who helped him get hired would allow for this kind of retaliation against Adam. When my dad connected with said executive, we learned Adam had actually been dishonest to HR about the necessary recovery time and used the operation as a reason not to perform his basic job duties when he presented the elective surgery as a way to give him a greater ability to do his job. Soon after his return to work, he was flown out to the company headquarters for an array of meetings. According to the executive my dad knew, Adam had knowingly skipped 2 of the meetings. Just to be clear, I will always feel Adam has the right to medical leave to take care of himself, however he sees fit. However, there was no evidence that the company did not honor protections from the Americans with Disabilities Act. So much so that when Adam's wrongful termination suit was presented to Uncle Anthony's lawyer, the lawyer felt there wasn't enough evidence to pursue a lawsuit. My dad reached out to Adam in an effort to understand the situation from his perspective, but Adam was quick to defend himself by lashing out at my dad with rude and dismissive remarks. Dude, you're a fibber. You fibbed to your employee. They found out you got fired. That's what happens when you fib.
Yeah, it's just how things go. Sorry, dude.
When my dad asked my Aunt Angela about the situation, her story changed. She claimed it was for the best that Adam, quote unquote, left that job so he could move home since he was struggling with living alone. My immediate family didn't understand this rationalization as Adam had lived alone during college after moving out of the fraternity house he spent his freshman and sophomore year living in. Even if he was struggling, my aunt and uncle could have afforded to hire him a housekeeper or laundry service to take some things off of his plate. Since being fired from his first job out of college, he's been fired from 4 other jobs for issues ranging from lying on timesheets to no-call no-shows for days at a time. I do think it's important to mention that around halfway through this series of job losses, Adam's best friend passed away in a horrific road rage incident.
Whoa.
Folks, that right there is why I will always say, just like, don't do the road rage. So, his friend passing away, of course, impacted Adam greatly. My family rallied around him, offering an ear to talk, home-cooked meals to his friend's fiancé and child, and donating to his in memoriam charity. I can imagine Adam grieves the loss of his best friend every day, and I can't imagine the pain he's endured during that time. His parents have used business connections to get him new jobs while continuing to cover his monthly expenses like rent, insurance, and utilities. Fast forward to the year before I got engaged. Adam had just gotten out of a long-term relationship with a woman around his age who we'll call Becca, 27 female. Adam and Becca dated for over a year and lived together in the townhouse Angela and Anthony bought them with rent at a reduced rate. This living situation helped Becca finish her social work degree and gave Adam a chance to find and maintain full-time employment. According to Ashley, Becca had confided in her that Adam exhibited some concerning behavior over the course of their relationship. To be clear, Adam never found evidence that Becca was cheating or hiding anything. He only found messages from Becca's mom to Becca saying how worried she was about her and was encouraging Becca to leave Adam. One time, while Becca was on a girls' trip in Europe, Adam noticed Becca's ex had liked a vacation post on Becca's Instagram story. Adam took this as proof Becca was cheating on him. He didn't pick Becca up from the airport. So, Adam, I highly suggest therapy, Adam.
Yeah.
Therapy, weekly therapy. You have got a lot on your plate right now. Becca had to take an Uber home to their townhome, and when she arrived, Adam had thrown some of her items on the front lawn. When Becca called the police to have an escort into the townhome to collect the rest of her things, Adam claimed Becca's cats were his and that she couldn't take them. After several minutes of arguing, moderated by the police, the officers allowed Becca to take the cats with her to her mom's house. After another few months of on and off, Becca ended things and got her own place. Since then, my sister hasn't unfollowed her on social media as we got kind of close to Becca during her relationship with Adam. After the relationship ended, Becca would frequently post things related to DV awareness. Again, this information is coming from Ashley's conversations with Becca and Becca's posts. Adam's previous live-in partner also said Adam would allegedly throw things during arguments, scream expletives, and go through her phone. And Angela also told my mom Adam did these things to her when he lived at home.
Whoa.
That's pretty extreme.
That is very extreme.
Yeah.
Wow.
Therapy. We need a very good therapist, please, for Adam.
Please.
When my sister liked Becca's updated Facebook profile image post on a random Tuesday, Adam texted my sister an onslaught of disgusting messages. Quote, another example of women caring more about social media than their own families. God dang, you women can't ever just say sorry and listen. Like that crap again, and I'm not getting you anything for your birthday. The ironic thing about that last one is Adam never gets us gifts for our birthdays. And Angela shows up to birthday parties with 3 presents and claims 2 of them are from each of her children. Adam also claimed Becca was the one who got physical with him. Adam also claims Becca was hiding money from him to move out, which, if true, only further confirms poor treatment on his part, in my opinion. Being like, she was hiding money from me so she could live her own life independently.
Yeah.
That's a red flag for you, buddy, not for her.
Yeah, sorry.
About 2 months after Adam's breakup with Becca and the text to my sister, he attacked my mom. My mom had reposted TikTok advocating for trans rights, LGBTQ, women's, and other civil rights issues that are extremely important to me and my mom. And we don't shy away from posting things to make it clear where we stand in America's current political climate. When Adam saw this post, he bombarded her with frightening messages, like trans is dangerous to expose children to. Considering you were adopted, you would think you wouldn't be so pro-choice. You let Henry down by letting him grow up with so much female influence. I feel like Adam got deep red pilled at some point. I would like to look at Adam's algorithm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I know the kind of stuff he's seeing on there.
This is an unfortunate way to grow up, I believe.
The ironic thing about the last one is he later admitted he thought my younger brother Henry, 20 male, was gay, and that was the result of my mom doing more of the parenting than my dad. Adam also accused my mom of abandoning my dad within their marriage because they aren't physically intimate anymore. My parents' marriage is a whole other Reddit post, but for the purposes of this story, all you need to know is Adam got this information from my uncle Anthony, who is not in their relationship.
Yeah.
After these messages, we didn't speak to or see Adam for 6 months. He randomly showed up at my folks' house one night to apologize. I use the word apologize in quotes because Adam's inability to provide reasoning for his words. How did he know some of the information he detailed in the messages? What did my mom do to bring out such a visceral reaction in him? Why did he think Henry was gay? His explanation was the government is targeting him with a near recession, causing items of status and wealth to be inaccessible for him.
What?
I'm sorry, did this guy just imply that the government is conspiring to make inflation go up just because of Adam?
Just because of him. What?
Wow.
How do you even like dream that up?
Again, like this, yeah, that's like, that's a severe delusion for sure.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm just not understanding what he means by that.
That's what it sounded like, though.
Yeah. Anyway, my mom made it clear that none of those things justified his actions, regardless of the truth in them. He doubled down on his reasoning, walking the conversation in circles. The discussion ended with Adam promising to go to therapy and apologize to my sister, and neither of those things ever happened. The incident that pushed us to leave him off of the guest list was our engagement party in September of 2024. We did not invite him due to the lack of an apology to my mom and sister, in addition to no indication of changed behavior. A few hours before the engagement party, Adam texted me, "I'm sorry that I was so rude to you," and congratulated us on our engagement. I responded first with an acknowledgement of the apology, but expressed my frustration in his inability to deliver a meaningful apology or show a real change in behavior over the last year. I also made clear how disrespectful his words and beliefs were when it came to women specifically. My feelings were met with extreme resistance, to the point he bombarded my phone with more vile text messages over the course of approximately 16 hours during our engagement party. Here are the highlights of the nearly 30 messages. So before we get into them, I just want to say it's also very clear, like, the apology, the reason this apology was so hollow is it's coming like right on the heels of like the engagement party that he can't go to. So he's just being left out, and now he's like, oh, okay, I guess I'll say sorry now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's entirely contingent upon getting something out of it.
Right.
Getting
Like
to be able to go to the party.
Exactly.
So it's a completely irrelevant apology. So let's read some of the wonderful things that he wrote.
Let's see.
So in response to me saying women don't need men to live happy, fulfilling lives, quote, "I disagree. Women need men. Men need women. Men are the ones who fight, pass away, and defend our country. They rescue you from fires."
This is so silly.
Bonnie, you're a silly baby. This is what I'm talking about. This is a silly baby moment.
Silly
Like, instead of being
baby.
like, "I can't believe you," I'd be like, "Oh, you silly little baby.
Yeah.
Did you know ladies can be firefighters? Oh, and they can be in the military."
What?
Oh, yeah. Like, silly baby boy.
No way.
Yeah, I think you're right. OP says, does he think women don't serve in the military and women don't become firefighters? Oh, man. Quote, "Try to remember a marriage without God is simply a business contract, a contract in which, if it fails, Craig loses. He loses everything. Wives, submit yourself unto the Lord, for the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, and he is the savior of the body. Therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, let so the wives be their own husbands in everything." What? You can't use the Bible. We're not
Ew.
Bibling right now.
We're not Bibling. Also, that last sentence just didn't grammatically make sense at all.
So let the wives be to their own husbands in everything. Get out of here.
Get out of here with that olden talk, that olden speech.
Stop it.
Yeah. I'll be the first one to say that women can be individuals.
Yeah.
What?
No way.
No way.
I thought you guys all had like a meeting every night.
A meeting.
You guys hop on Zoom and you're like, all right,
Make
what are we
sure-
going to do tomorrow?
All right. What does our man need tomorrow? What are we
Where's
going to do, ladies?
The collective woman brain.
Yeah.
What are we thinking tonight?
Exactly. I've
Yeah.
been on that Zoom call. It's cool.
I've been on that Zoom call. It's a secret Zoom call.
It's a secret. It's only for women.
Okay, so I guess he also said, nobody wants independent women. It's actually bad for society. Look at the crime rates for fatherless homes. I hope you guys find Christ. The ironic thing about that piece of scripture that he quoted is that it's only the first half. Here's the second. Husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her to make her holy, cleansing her by the washing with water through the word, and to present her to himself as a radiant church without stain or wrinkle or any other blemish, but holy and blameless. In this same way, husbands ought to love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. After all, no one ever hated their own body, but they feed and care for their body just as Christ does the church, for we are members of his body. For this reason, a man will... Oh, there's so much Bible! There's so much Bible!
It's so much Bible.
Basically, Bible says, be good to wife, be good to husband.
Yes. Not just that the woman has to serve her husband.
This is a profound mystery, but I am talking about Christ and the church. However, each one of you also must love his wife as he loves himself, and the wife must respect her husband. So he was being a hypocrite, being like, women need to be completely subservient to their husbands, but husbands don't need to follow any of the scripture rules when it comes to their wives.
Yeah, he's just totally ignored that.
Which is what people always do when they cherry pick scripture. Ashley and Ashley's husband consummated their marriage only when they wanted to have a child, but there didn't used to be a bunch of rubber and pills in between. We have forgotten spicy sleep is sacred. You've been semi-married a long time. I'm glad we are getting together to celebrate it officially. I, OP says, found it unsettling that he cared this much about me and his sister's spicy sleep lives in addition to my mom's. I also know from his sister that the claim they waited for marriage is not true, as she'd had a pregnancy scare while they were dating due to failed birth control. Another quip from Adam here. My advice as a guy looking from the outside in, I hope Craig serves you, provides, listens, commits himself to you fully every day in what you need, but you should obey him. Submit to his leadership. He has a lot more to lose. Go to church together. Less than 1% of couples who pray together divorce. Back in the day, a marriage was in a church. A dad gave his daughter away. There was no contract. It just meant two people lived together and had spicy sleep. And there was a celebration before God. I guess he thinks this is a better approach to marriage than the modern era unions. Another quote, I was tired of your blatant eye-rolling, disrespect, and general attitude towards me. Women need men. Men don't want independent women. They want wives. I stand by that. Don't be a quarrelsome wife. Marriage will be that much more difficult. Buddy, you're confusing me, like me, Adam, I want this. You're confusing that with literally the entire world.
Yeah.
Somehow. You're generalizing for every person.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Don't you know, he reads the Bible partially.
Oh, I get it.
And so that means that everyone else has to only read what he reads.
He's the king of the world.
He's the king of the world. You forget, Dakota.
I read this whole story forgetting that Adam was the king of the world, dude.
I forgot about that.
I wonder if OP called him Adam because of Adam and Eve.
I think it's very possible. I was wondering that too.
Oh, okay. So OP says, I think he's talking about the way I distanced myself from him at family gatherings after his attacks on my mom and sister. Even before those incidents, I was wary of getting close to him because I knew he didn't treat his mom and partners well at all. Adam, quote, you're right. Women can ignore the advice and guidance of a man, but they end up divorced and alone. They end up with wine and cats. That's a great combo, by the way. I guess you get the paycheck in the end, though, so I get why women today stop caring. Just remember, other aunt's name wasn't so independent without ex-husband's paycheck. Again, I'd love to see this guy's algorithm. This guy's algorithm has got to be so freaking red-pilled.
Yep.
He's insinuating my other aunt lived or lives off of child support and alimony from her ex-husband, both of which he's never paid in the 20 years they've been divorced. She has majority custody of their kids. Our save the dates for the wedding went out in January of 2025. Adam did not receive one. Aunt Angela, Uncle Anthony, and Ashley did. Craig and I didn't feel comfortable inviting someone to our wedding after a display of such disrespect towards not just me, my sister, and my mom, but also marginalized groups of people as a whole. After hearing Adam didn't receive a save the date, Aunt Angela, Uncle Anthony, and my grandparents are asking my parents why Adam isn't invited. Why are they asking your parents? They should be asking you. It's your wedding. My parents had our back, citing the inappropriate comments to multiple family members and no apology. They argue that Adam is struggling with a mental illness and shouldn't be left out of the event. My Aunt Angela is especially concerned that this will have an intense negative effect on his mental health. I do agree that Adam is suffering from mental illness, and I agree he should be getting professional help from a physician and or psychologist. While I believe this is true, I believe I have a right to draw a boundary to not invite someone who boldly spoke down on my beliefs and future marriage to my wedding. And by the way, I would never speak down on you for listening to the full episodes with stories just like this that are on Spotify and iHeartRadio and wherever you listen to podcasts. It could be Apple, it could be a podcast app that's even yet to be invented, but we'll be on it. Just search OK Storytime wherever you listen to podcasts, and you can listen to our full archive.
That's right.
We are approaching the end of the story here. I think that they really need to stand on their business here and not let Adam go to the wedding.
I agree. Well, I mean, it sounds like he wasn't invited, right?
Oh, he's not. But now his mom, the family's trying to be like, oh, he's meant to, which is true. It's like he's going through something. Clearly, he's going through something. However, like his parents have always like placated to him and like sort of they've been the safety net forever. And at this point, it's like he's not even trying to grab the trapeze wire. Like he's just fallen into the safety net because he knows that it's gonna be fine.
Yeah,
he doesn't have to.
Yeah.
And that level of entitlement that, again, we have very complicated primate brains that can get really crossed up. And I don't think anyone in this story is like evil.
Sure.
But like definitely after saying all those things, you're entirely in the right for being like, I don't think that person should be at the celebration of our marriage.
Right.
When they just down talked our entire relationship.
Yeah, because I mean, he's totally insulted them and has a very skewed like image of what marriage is, and so you don't that stuff. Even if you like know that it's crazy and you know that this person's opinion like doesn't matter, whatever, it still could make you so insecure about your relationship.
Right.
And you don't want someone that's gonna make you insecure about your relationship at your literal wedding. So. Yeah, that totally makes sense that they just don't want them there.
Imagine him just walking around, talking to everybody, being just a cloud of negativity. It's just really at the end of the day, what I would tell his parents is like, Adam's not invited because we didn't invite him. And it's really no one else's business if he's going to come or not, because it's our wedding.
Right.
Here's the reason why we didn't. If you really want the explanation. Other than that, he's not coming.
Yeah.
So
sorry.
Stand on that business.
Yep.
Choosing not to invite Adam is not about punishing him. It's about protecting our peace, the emotional safety of your wedding day. My fiance still thinks it's not a good idea to invite him, and my mom thinks inviting him will only continue to show Adam there are no consequences for his actions. Exactly. My dad thinks we should forgive and forget, despite his sister Angela's enabling tendencies. And even though I disagree, I feel terrible that my dad is being caught between me and his sister and parents. So would I be the a-hole for not inviting my cousin to my wedding? And there are comments, of course. We both think you're not the a-hole in this situation.
Not the a-hole.
Let's see what the comments have to say. Oh my God, no. You would not be wrong. And next time someone brings it up, you can respond with, quote, I don't like him and I don't want him there. Who cares if it gets back to him? Why should you be the one who has to tiptoe around his feelings when he's able to go on a misogynistic, crazy religious tirade on you and your family members? Comment 2 says, not the a-hole, enabling your cousin, which is what his parents have constantly done, just proves to him in his mind that he's always right. That's half of his problem. He's been coddled and catered to all his life. Yucky. Having him at your wedding is inviting a superior-minded, arrogant a-hole itching to have a public showdown. A reply to this says his parents taught him no boundaries, accountability, or morality as they enabled and signed off on his behavior. I agree that there is no reason to have someone who has been escalating their behavior towards others to be around at their wedding. Someone else here said she had expectations he act like her, but he cannot because he is mentally ill. But I think she understands that, and that is why he cannot come, because he is past the point of not being accountable. He has been enabled and he is harmful and will not stop because he has not been taught or shown any boundaries around his behavior. It's absolutely reasonable to not want this cousin present. And that is the end of that story.
My family refused to believe me. Now they expect me to fix everything.
Maybe they should have believed you.
Trigger warning, alcoholism. My heavy drinker father was pretty high functioning until he divorced my mom when I was 12. He stopped hiding the drinking around me, so I always saw him swigging whiskey from the bottle in the middle of the day before driving or even while driving. By the way, this comes from Dad Says I'm Chicken Crap, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStories on subreddit. So I saw how he couldn't stand up straight or put the keys in the ignition right. I was in the car when he ran into things. His side of the family never knew or accepted that he was a heavy drinker. And after my parents' divorce, I was really the only person who was affected by it daily. Not only did his side of the family not believe me, but they would also tell me that I was wrong or that I needed to be more thankful that my father had been such an amazing caregiver to me.
Where are they getting their information from?
Him, probably him.
Yeah, he's like, I'm an incredible dad.
Oh, he
And
just
they're like, see, he said he was incredible.
Yeah, he's just sleepy. Family members will deny me rides home, saying he wasn't drinking or it wasn't so bad. Even when he got 3 DUIs, they didn't believe he drank heavily and certainly didn't believe he was a heavy drinker.
I'm so sorry. Your family is very terrible
Oh my
putting you in those
gosh.
situations.
These people are allergic to facts.
Yeah.
I studied abroad in university, wonder why, and he got really bad. Family members blamed me and my absence for his increasing in drinking. He misses you so much. It's been hard for him.
Yeah, I don't care.
He finally pissed off some of the family by stealing money and booze from them, and my favorite relatives, Uncle Owen and Aunt Brew, said they were done with him and were furious with him for drinking. They held a meeting, and we agreed to communicate about everything my dad did. We weren't going to hide anything or keep secrets from him anymore. It was just enabling him. This was an amazing thing for me since no one had ever believed me that he was a bad drinker. I felt this huge burden of hiding his drinking or being told I didn't understand his drinking lifted off of me. Oh,
yeah, finally they
dude.
see the truth. That must be like so vindicating. It's like,
Yeah.
I've been telling you this whole time. You got 3 DUIs and you didn't think I was telling the truth?
Dude. He has lost many jobs, then his house. He moved into a low-income apartment where he suddenly got clean. It was a nice time because I was really about to move abroad for 3 years, so I wanted to really enjoy his sober time visiting before I left. I suspected him of drinking a few times, but ignored it. Just before Christmas, I went to surprise him with dinner and caught him drinking heavily. So heavily, he couldn't stand up straight. And I know he didn't remember me catching him in the act. I just wanted to enjoy my last Christmas in the country, so I said nothing. Since Owen and Brew and I had agreed not to keep his secrets, I sent them all an email telling them what had happened. They responded saying they printed my email out and showed my dad because they didn't believe me. Who? Owen and Brew? Wow. My dad was furious, saying I was lying.
Dude.
They agreed with him and emailed me back
your favorite aunt and uncle agreed?
saying I needed to be more compassionate and understanding towards him.
That's so frustrating. It's so frustrating because he's not hiding anything at all.
He was working so hard to be sober, but was discouraged by my lack of faith. They told me that I misunderstood the situation, and they believed he hadn't been drinking. I couldn't believe they would believe a lying, stealing, heavy drinker over me. Hurt. I responded to the email and told them to F off and not to email me about him anymore. Just a few days before I left the country for 3 years, they had really strained my relationship with my dad, who was calling me frequently, saying I was chicken crap and I needed to call him back so I could hear his side of the story. I went abroad with horrible relationships between everyone. My dad sends me rude letters demanding I understand how hard his life is and seeing things from his point of view. Others send me emails about how I need to fix all these relationship problems or that it's my fault he drinks so much because I'm not at home.
And that's
I
when you
can't
block all of them.
and I can't keep his drinks away from him.
Block all of them. Block all of them. And SCZ says my analogy was weird. I've actually been working on just like riffing, spitballing analogies.
Yeah, I like it. I like
thanks. I don't know if you've noticed them.
I noticed that one whenever you exposed it.
I've been doing a lot.
He lost his low-income apartment and moved in with his mom, who then had no choice but to punt him out because he was drinking heavily,
Wow.
shouting at her and stealing her pain medications. So he's in a homeless shelter now. Everyone tells me he's a disaster. He can't stop drinking. He's having seizures when he tries to stop. He's had multiple concussions from falling down while drinking / seizing. He stopped caring for himself, so he's skin and bones. His hair's grown out, and he's had to have all his teeth pulled out. Oh my gosh, this is terrible.
And that's all of your family who didn't do anything to stop this.
Not your responsibility.
No.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, they all ignored it. They all ignored it and they blamed it on you, and that's their fault.
I'm getting home in a few weeks to all of this. I haven't seen him in 3 years, and I'm not sure what to do. I don't know if I want a relationship with him. The biggest punter is I'm getting married in a few months and everything is more complicated with the wedding. People are telling me I need to patch things up before the wedding.
Nope.
Or else they'll never be patched up.
Good.
I find this hard to believe. I don't know if I should invite my own father to the wedding besides how poorly he treats me. He's very emotional and could make a huge scene. Worst case scenario, if he tries to get sober, he could have a seizure at the wedding. I almost want him to drink at the wedding so he doesn't have another huge seizure like he did at another family event a few years ago. Since I told my aunt and uncle to F off, we haven't communicated for 3 years. My grandmother from that side of the family seemed to be on their side and tell me that I need to apologize to them. But I feel like what they did was a betrayal of trust. So, if it's worth fixing, how do I fix it? How do I handle a homeless, toothless, heavily drinker dad at a wedding? How do I fix everything up with everyone? Comment 1, is there any reason why they aren't helping him? Why do they think that you can only help him? Even back when you were only a child, you went to people you thought you could trust, your uncle and aunt, and they straight up said you were lying, even though you had all the previously agreed to not hide what he was doing. This is all very toxic in general. OP says, I think they think they're helping him. They have gave him lots of money, and my grandma gave him a place to live off and on. Because they put so much blame on me for the drinking, I think they're twisted enough to believe he'll become sober when I return or something. None of them know I'm leaving again. I'm getting a lot of comments like, thank goodness you'll be here next Christmas. This Christmas was so hard for him since you were gone. It's crazy toxic, and my mom doesn't realize it either. Telling internet strangers about this finally opening up my eyes to how not okay any of this is. Until recently, this was my reality, and it seemed okay or just a burden I had to bear. And we got an update.
Wow.
Dude.
I mean, the fact that your mom is still in the picture and like nothing is changing is just shocking.
Can you sue? Is there a way to
Shocking.
sue your whole family?
No, you just have to go no contact.
But can we get money out of this?
No. I mean, you can say like they're enabling the father in some way. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't want them to go to prison. I just want money out of it. Dude, I got a honeymoon coming around the corner. I got a wedding.
That's true. I just want him to be in I want him to get care. Like, this is just sad.
Update. Thank you so much to everyone who responded. I've never posted on Reddit before. I was so convinced people would say I probably didn't know he was drinking when I was a child or that I was to blame for being out of the country. I've thought about everything everyone has said and will keep thinking about it for a while. I have a week until I fly back home and will just keep chewing on all this information during this time. I've already Skyped my mom. We had a good talk. She never meant to pressure me to fix everything. She was just trying too hard to make me happy and try to create a perfect situation for the wedding. After talking, we both agreed this will never happen. She is not taking any steps to repair anything and is not pressuring me to do anything with anyone. There really isn't anything to repair. It's completely broken. We're both on the same page now with that. The wedding is in June and I haven't sent out the invitations, but I'm about to. I know for sure I will not invite Uncle Owen or Aunt Brew, and as for my dad, it's a really hard decision, but he probably won't be coming. 95% sure. As for everyone else who has been blaming me for causing his drinking by being gone, I'll have to really do some soul searching and decide what they mean to me. This is the thing I go through from. 1, have they been in your life for the past year? Have you talked to them within the past year? 2, will they add any beneficial facts or fun at the wedding? If it's no to both of them,
not invited. Bye.
not worth it.
But I
Dude,
don't invite them.
You're better off finding someone, some other family.
Yeah, weddings are for people who will support you.
Yep.
And this is not them. They have never once supported you.
Update 2. In my last update, I talked about how my dad was on a homeless shelter for stealing pain meds from my grandmother. Well, that didn't last long. He was back living with her almost immediately. When I got home from being abroad, I was completely inundated with stories of how good/bad he's doing. Everyone had an agenda to either keep me away from him or to try to trick me into patching things up with him. My mom called my dad and told him not to come see me or call or anything. Amazingly, he respected this and has never called me or come to where I'm staying. He has, however, randomly come over to grandma's house while I was there. She is extremely upset that he and I aren't speaking. So we're not sure if she had him over to trick me into seeing him or if he came over because he knew I would be there. It was really terrible seeing him and made me feel really guilty that we don't have a relationship. Grandma has become just awful to visit. She only believes what her children say and doesn't care about what I say. My dad's been a heavy drinker all my life, and after the divorce, I had to babysit him a lot. Well, she goes on and on lecturing me that he's only been a heavy drinker for about 4 years and that he's been a wonderful father to me. Once she brought up a lot of painful things, and I repeated over and over that I wasn't going to talk about it until I was basically shouting at her to stop. She won't listen to me or respect me. I went to a counselor who really couldn't/wouldn't give me advice if he should come to the wedding. Oh my, no, not even the counselor's helping.
Oh my goodness.
I ended up talking a lot more about the problems I was having with my mom, noticing how manipulative and awful my mom has been to me and helping me deal with my role as her caregiver as well. This opened a whole new can of worms, and my counselor said she can't/won't diagnose my mom, but it sounds a lot like borderline personality disorder. So that was another caretaker deal in my life. Her manipulation, mood swings, anger, blame, and me growing up tiptoeing around her all the time. It's not relevant to the heavy drinking other than I think she tried to keep my dad out of the wedding, not to protect me, but because she had to have me all to herself. So even people in my corner, air quotes, aren't really doing it to be good people. Owen and Bruce sent a pathetic little wedding card a couple of days before the wedding. We still didn't invite them even if it was their peace offering. The wedding was pretty great, and I didn't really feel anyone's absence. It was so nice. Grandma had a post-wedding brunch, though, and Owen got furious at the mention of wedding pictures and shouted at some people. So it seems like it really bothers them that they weren't invited. The day before the wedding, Grandma told me it was unallowing my dad knowing he wasn't coming. We still didn't invite him, but it doesn't mean a lot of tears weren't shed at how awful I felt and was being made to feel. The day before we got back from the honeymoon, my dad came over with presents he had wanted to give me at the wedding. They're probably drawings. I hadn't opened them. It hurts so much that he is still a nice person deep down, so it unalives me that he's sober sometimes, and I miss out on those days. He mentioned to my mom that she can either forgive me or not. It's fine. It's not like he's apologized, and I'm not sure how much of it is forgiveness. His lies are the whole reason I don't have a family anymore. Finally, I heard from a family member that Owen and Bruce's story is the lie they've been telling everyone to get them on their side. The truth from the last post is that we went to dinner with them 6 years ago. We promised not to lie or cover for a heavy drinking dad anymore. 3 years later, everyone thought he was sober, and then my husband and I caught him. Not knowing what to do, we emailed Owen and Bruce because we had a pact we made at dinner, who printed the email out and gave it to my dad, causing a massive rift between my dad and me, and then causing me to write Owen and Bruce out of my life for good.
The thing is really quick, like OP says, oh, it's my dad's fault that like I don't have a family anymore. And to an extent, I see, yes, like that's true, but also the reason you don't have a family with these people anymore is because them, like they didn't support you. They weren't there. They made those choices. That has nothing to do with your dad.
Yeah.
That's them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude. Here's 12-year-old. Fix your dad's drinking problem.
Yeah, like that's a them problem. That's why you don't have a family anymore. Like they did that.
Oh
They
my gosh.
stink.
Their stories that they had me over for dinner, being the loving and caring aunt and uncle they are, they wanted to help me out. So they explained heavy drinking to me. In their story, I got crazy upset, telling them they were wrong and didn't know what they were talking about. And I didn't want to hear it. They said I stood up, shouting and slamming doors and telling them I will never wanted to talk to them again. And I left their house screaming. The only screaming I did was over the email, telling them to go F themselves after they betrayed my trust with the email and telling me he wasn't drinking, which he so obviously was and has been lately. Heck, we had a detox a few days before the wedding.
Dude, he doesn't have teeth. How are you so blind?
This is insanely upsetting. The only reason I've been so upset with the whole family is they are invalidating my experience in caretaking and heavy drinker my whole life. So when my grandma says he's only been a heavy drinker for a little while, makes me mad because of my childhood.
Yeah, he's like, that makes me mad because that's not true.
Dude, you know what also sucks? Dude, this is a crap story. It's like Opie probably doesn't have a childhood.
No, because I mean, you've been like parentified to your own parents.
You know, low key, hot take. If I was president, anyone that went through this gets added to your job experience on your resume.
Yeah,
I've been a caretaker since I was 12. That's like 8 years whenever you apply at 18 or 20.
You should get therapy.
Get therapy and you're hired.
Yeah.
When my dad was angry about the email, he said, I need to call him and get his side of the story. as if there was another side. And now I find out my entire family thinks I wrote family members out of my life because I couldn't accept the truth about alcoholism. I'm the only one who was dealing with the heavy drinking or was aware of it. It's been my burden to carry my whole life. They've only been dealing with it for 4 or 5 years. So now that I know that everyone believes, I'm not sure where to go from here. A lot of people's advice was to just stay away. They're right. My husband and I live abroad and only return to the U.S. for the wedding and a visit.
Good.
We leave in 1.5 months, but for now, we're stuck here. I never want to talk to any of my family members again when I leave this time.
And that's okay.
But at the same time, that basically means losing my entire family. Also, if I never talk to them again, how do I want to leave things? Meanwhile, Grandma is probably passing away. But I hate going to her house because we're always scared she'll have my dad or Owen or Brew over to trick us. And as she has done probably before. And also, every visit involves a lecture and blame because she's on her way out. We really don't argue back anymore, but it hurts me a lot. I also don't know if I should try to tell everyone the truth, but we'll tell you the truth that you can see crazy stories just like these on your favorite podcast platform. Just search up what, Sophia?
Okay, story time.
And boom, they probably are less traumatic than this one.
Hopefully.
But yeah, this is wild, dude.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Gonna cut its head off and finish it.
Please.
I thought I was being the bigger person by not sharing my side of the story. I have emails that were sent and could show them to her, basically providing my side of the story, but I don't know if I want to do this. Did she have to go to her grave thinking I'm a huge witch that destroyed her family, or should she know how effed up all her kids are? So here's my questions. Is it okay to/does it get any easier completely writing out family members from your life? I know they're bad people, but does it make it any more of a loss? 2, he didn't come to the wedding, but he was sometimes a better person in my life growing up than my mom was. Now that I've reached a breaking point with her, his loss feels greater. Should I try to see him before I go abroad again? I've been home for 4 months and haven't seen him, so I'll leave in a month and a half. Do I tell my family the truth with emails? I have more or less proof. Still, they've proven themselves crazy before, and I'm not sure if they'll ever believe me, but maybe it would be better to at least put it out there. Put it out there!
I don't even think that it's gonna do anything, though. You know? Like, I think maybe my advice is, like, keep your peace. Don't try and email them anything. They're not gonna believe you.
No, they actually really won't.
And, you know, I think you could see your dad maybe this probably might be the last, unfortunately, it might be the last time that you do see him if you're going back abroad, given how severely he's, you know, gone downhill because of his drinking. So I think you could have that moment. Just know that it's probably going to be pretty sad. It's not going to be great. Yeah. There might be, like, he might, you know, be pretty angry. There might be a lot of emotions from him that you don't deserve. And just, like, knowing going into it, it's like, it's not your fault. You haven't done anything wrong. But having that one last moment to see him.
Yep. Agreed.
Cut these people out of your life.
Agreed. And guys, that is the end of that story. I refused to attend my friend's wedding because of what they did.
Keep your mouth shut.
My husband and I were close with another couple. Constant double date game nights. We hosted a weekly D&D that one of them DM'd. Picked up hobbies together and generally did a lot together. That's until my health significantly declined, like a couple of surgeries in 3 months, recovery symptoms, and what led to surgery. By the way, this comes from user something clever, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, she would mock the fact that I was always sick. By the time I had surgeries and found answers, they were more or less not close enough for us to share my condition or what I had surgery. We did reconnect between surgeries, filled them, and invited them to be with our 2 witnesses at our courthouse wedding. She declined. She said that they had worked that day, not during the wedding, but a couple hours after.
She's like, I've got to keep the whole day free.
My husband was also insulted, but we decided we didn't know the situation with her work, how it impacted her asking to come in late or requesting time off or switching shifts. My issue is she never acknowledged me since. No congrats, no sorry I couldn't make it, just a joint message from them to my husband 2 or 3 days after the wedding asking for the ride to the airport. On top of that, my surgery was the day after our wedding, which they knew. I also couldn't sit up by myself, so I was extra hurt that they thought that this was appropriate. Honestly surprised at this point that they didn't twist the knife in deeper and ask us to house sit their dog that isn't housebroken. Seems like they were more resourceful enough to take care of their dog. They had options other than asking us for a ride. I don't want to guess that they were being so crappy. It was now been 3 months. A month ago, my husband planned to talk to him on an outing he planned while she was at work. But in another absolute insult, the guy's night was crashed by her. Yeah, apparently it isn't easy enough for her to call off work. It was just assumed my husband will be his groomsman. He wasn't formally asked. And that is why my husband wanted to speak with him. We don't get it. Husband was asked at the outing to attend a full tux fitting to take place the next day. Turns out she will be there too. Husband could have changed his plans to attend, but was supremely annoyed by how much their relationship has one-sided respect. I just don't want to attend their wedding and silently resent them on their big day.
Don't attend their wedding. They didn't come to yours.
But on the other hand,
Ugh.
we're also shared so many mutual friends.
Who cares?
Some of them will be traveling from out of state who we don't otherwise get to visit, and I don't want to draw attention to the rift. Our mutual friends do not know how we feel. We just started sharing we are married, so we should go without saying we didn't mix sharing our exciting news with their shade. It would have been easier to talk to the guy friend, but he has since kept offline on Discord and kept himself scarce. I'm going to be hurt and embarrassed whether or not I attend their wedding. We don't even know if I'm allowed to sit with my husband or if I am effectively attending stag. Is there any anti-drama advice? I want to believe I am above stealing their joy with my mood, but it doesn't hurt to hear any advice. We got an update.
Oh,
Maybe
I mean,
just go.
Yeah, honestly, either you sit with your friends who are coming out of state, or you talk to your husband and say like, hey, can you please ask them, because I want to sit with you. You are my husband. I don't want to have to sit alone. See if they can like work that out. And then, slowly phase them out of your life.
Yeah. Go to the wedding. This has been 3
I think because
months
your
of this.
husband's going, I would say if you both weren't going, it would make a little bit sense. And then you could make up some excuse about like it not working with timing and stuff. But because he has to go as best man, it probably will bring a little bit more
groomsman.
attention. Oh, sorry, groomsman.
I would go just honor the times you guys had together, and then from there.
Yeah, and hang
it was
out with
just-
all those friends that you haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, and then just take it easy after that. Be like, oh, it's okay. We're just not in the mood to hang.
Mm-hmm.
Update. Well, my husband's friend has since unfriended him on one platform, probably blocked him on others. This seemingly came out of nowhere. Husband was able to finally speak to his friend after months of being ignored and one slightly successful attempt to talk in person that was crashed by her. As their wedding approached, they suddenly became very interested in us, spam calling and texting for last-minute night of plans, interrupting our already progress date, offending themselves because we weren't available for their aggressively spontaneous calls and texts. Shout out to another friend that mentioned conversation consent, because that concept needs to be more readily involved in our lives. This couple took every opportunity to be insulted by our less immediate responses. Earlier in the day, they would message my husband during training for his new role, then text and call me to ask why he ignored them.
Oh my
They
goodness.
pulled the same thing after he got off work, text or call during our dinner, then text me to ask why we are ignoring them, effectively ruining the mood with their anxious attachment and dramatics. I just responded to her that to say my husband started a new position, was very busy, and to answer if something was wrong. I was disheartened by this sudden influx when we had not existed to them for months prior. I didn't get so much as a sorry, I couldn't make it, or attend your wedding text, or congratulations. Nothing about my expensive surgery that incapacitated me. Just this text asking why my husband seems to be ignoring them. That it isn't lost to me that she can text when it is approaching her wedding and she wants us to attend/be involved. My husband arranged to meet up and talk things out with his friend alone, as he had intended 5 months ago. Honestly, I was so excited for them during the mid-progress update call from my husband as they drove in their respective cars to grab some food. Honestly, I was so excited for them during the mid-progress update call from my husband as they drove in their respective cars to grab some food. Husband was saying how receptive his friend was to all the things my husband spelled out that hurt our feelings or made us feel disregarded. He said how his friend was not defensive or otherwise providing excuses, just engaged listening! Exclamation mark.
OP's husband was like, and I didn't appreciate how you kind of ignored my wife's like feeling hurt
Oh, yeah?
about, and he's just like,
Uh-huh.
uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Oh,
And
wow.
you seem pretty receptive.
Yeah, wow, okay.
And he doesn't actually say anything. He just goes, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. He seemed to understand that while we understood things don't always work out, there was a lot of insult to injury. The night pretty much wrapped up with the friend stating he had been a crappy friend and would really like to try to make things right between us. and salvage the relationship. It felt well worth the canceled plans I had with my husband. He got home around 10:30, meaning maybe 3 hours. My husband went to sleep shortly after getting home, and we effectively forfeited any chance of a night together. At 11:30 or so, husband received a text from her. I already see the problem.
Oh,
I see the
no.
common denominator here.
Oh no. It seems like the fiance has been okay because OP's husband is still a groomsman.
Yeah.
It's the woman who has been like making fun of OP, not checking in with her about anything.
Kind of critical.
Yeah, hypercritical.
Weird. She did not like whatever was secondhandedly transcribed to her. It was a defensive pity party, saying how I didn't know you didn't like me after all these years. I didn't know you thought I was controlling to fiance. I didn't know you thought I was never nice to OP. She threw around how she was known and hung out with my husband for 7 years, ignoring the fact that I've known her for 5. And I might as well not even exist. I felt insulted all over again by her actions. Her earlier message felt like so much more of a failing Bechdel test. I existed exclusively as an extension of my husband. She had just apologized for not reaching out to me directly, and here she was indirectly complaining about me. My husband nor I even saw the text that night. There was, of course, so much more to come because she was insulted some more before we woke up. This is why I appreciate the concept of consent to conversation. She was messaging my husband while he continued to be unavailable to respond, angering herself further that he didn't drop everything to engage. He had to pacify her and essentially say that he is calling out her actions and not her character. He doesn't hate her like she seemed to believe. She never responded. Urgency, like most things in relation to her, is one-sided. A few days later, my husband was reached out by his friends saying my husband needed to confirm that day that he would be a groomsman. Husband said that as he needs an answer tonight, it will have to be no. There are too many things unresolved. Nothing else had been said, and it appears as though my husband has been removed from the friends list on Steam.
Ooh, dang,
Ooh,
rough. You can't go back from that.
you really can't. Ah, that's so hard.
Yeah,
He probably got blocked on Discord too.
probably.
They're no longer Reddit buddies.
Aw, that's, man.
My husband is understandably hurt.
Yeah.
Non-belief. It is an understatement to say it's a little awkward because this is just some of out-of-town friends connected with us to make plans to attend the wedding together. We haven't breathed a word to our mutual friends. We figured we should bury our feelings and tend to keep appearances as we faded out of our former friendships.
They didn't want you to attend if they blocked you?
I'm sure uninviting us will raise alarm bells with other friends. Yeah.
Oh,
they
so
probably-
they're only inviting you to like keep up appearances, and you
Yep.
guys are only going to keep up appearances.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what it is.
I don't know. If they're treating you this bad, I mean, let your friends find out.
Yeah. After party at my place.
Yeah,
Cool.
literally.
From where I stand, I think they all had more to lose drawing attention to how rude they've been to us. And it would be very rude if you don't go to your favorite freaking podcast platform right now. Search up OK Storytime on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and listen to more stories just like this.
Do it.
Don't be rude.
Don't be rude.
We have an edit.
Well, honestly, I don't even know if you guys have to go to the wedding.
No, don't.
At this
Don't.
point, your husband's no longer a groomsman, it seems like. That's kind of what they've been
Yeah,
implying, right?
yeah.
You aren't close with the friend either, the bride. You're only going to keep up appearances. They're only inviting you to do the same thing. So it's like, why go there and be resentful? And like, probably you're going to want to tell your friends, but you'll feel like you can't because you're at their wedding. I feel like not going. And if anyone asks, you just say, this is what happened.
Yeah, for sure, dude. For those of you concerned about getting ahead of the story so they don't spin it, I don't think anyone will favorably look upon their consideration. I started going public with my health condition. I had an organ removed and then had another surgery within 3 months to remove tissue in 10 different places. I'm starting IVF or more freezing my eggs the same month as their wedding, and those suckers are deteriorating. She keeps telling people / me I only gave her 12 days notice for my courthouse wedding, so of course she couldn't make it, despite it not being during work hours. But the wedding was in fact because my husband and I were experiencing my health hardships and had to make tough calls like freezing embryos or just losing fraternity possibly within the year. She is not going to walk away from this unscathed. I made a social media post in honor of International Women's Day. Our friends saw it, and that's when she started essentially reaching out to us. She knows she doesn't look good, And she kept digging her hole deeper. Edit 2. Oh, and my husband and I got married on my husband's birthday. It was a Monday. My surgery was on that Tuesday. We bought rings right before Thanksgiving, and Thanksgiving messed up courthouse hours. We thought it was slightly romantic. And she couldn't attend my husband's birthday/wedding even as one half of our required attendees. I was ashamed to tell people the day we got married, but it is a whole other level of disregard that casually missed our wedding. It will not take us bad-mouthing her for people to think she has been a heartless butt. And that's the end of that story.
I want to ban my bridesmaid because of her jealousy.
Maidzilla!
I, 27 female, am getting married this summer to the love of my life, 28 male, Andrew. Andrew and I met 2 years ago online. I had only been on my dating app for 1 to 2 months. We had gone on a few dates and instantly clicked. We've been together ever since. By the way, this comes from HoneyG19, the r/2HotTake subreddit. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, Andrew and I have been through a lot over the last year. In April of 2024, my mother got diagnosed with a progressive stage of ovarian cancer, where she needed to get a huge surgery removing 2 pounds of tumor that spread, then had to quickly decide on what treatment plan after she was somewhat recovered. Shortly after her diagnosis, Andrew's grandparents were placed into hospice, needing extra daily home care. Sadly, his grandfather had just recently passed away from organ failure, and it has been extremely hard on us, including his entire family. Through the mix of all of my mother's health issues and his grandparents, in September 2024, Andrew had booked us a 4-day trip and proposed, which I happily said yes to. We both knew that if we were able to get through all of the challenges we were facing, we could get through anything together. And there were no doubts we had about wanting to spend our lives with one another. Fast forward to the start of my wedding planning. Personally, I did not want to wait a long time to get married. In the back of my mind, I had this huge fear of losing her before we got married. Most days she couldn't get out of bed, and I didn't know where we would be years ahead. So Andrew and I chose a venue and a date very quickly. By the time we would get married, we would have been engaged for 11 months. I quickly started to plan fast, and by the time we reserved everything, Andrew and I had booked the important things within 3 months of our engagement. Soon after that, I started picking out my bridal party and even spent the time to make cute bridesmaid proposal boxes. I had chosen my sister as my matron of honor, and my bridesmaids, my future sister-in-law, and my 3 best friends, Cecilia, Felicity, and Rachel. Whenever Andrew and I got engaged, our family and friends were over the moon, and you could tell how excited and supportive everyone was for us. Except for Felicity. Backstory on Felicity, 29 female. Felicity and I have been friends for about 3 years. We both have a love for the city and adventure, so there were plenty of times that we would plan things out spontaneously. Throughout the years I've known her, she has always been a bright and free-spirited kind of person. We grew close pretty quickly, even treated each other as sisters. The more I got to know her, I started to see that she had been somewhat involved with a man back and forth. He worked in his family business and came from family money. Felicity actually spent a lot of her time with him, going to expensive restaurants. Felicity is known to have an extensive taste. Going out with her can be a little difficult as she would always want to go to expensive bars. Money for me has always been somewhat tight. I had about 2 other jobs on top of my main full-time job, babysitting and dog sitting. Around this time, I was a single Pringle, but over time, I would find Felicity changing plans on me if something better came along.
Opportunist. Opportunist. Gotta keep an eye on that.
You're gonna follow a
She's a very opportunist mindset. So when it comes to guys, this guy makes more money than this one.
I'm just gonna go over here now.
Yeah, so that even with plants.
Like the guy she was involved with whenever he was in our city, or her inviting herself to his house for the weekend. Eventually, I started noticing that she was low-key stalking him, as he never seemed to put her first. I know the result of his behavior does not excuse stalking, but it was getting frustrating seeing my friend not being treated first by someone who couldn't commit. This would start a lot of conversations with her about how important self-worth is and how she deserved better. These conversations eventually ended as it was getting extremely redundant, and I found people change if they truly want to. So I would let it go. Around the time I met Andrew, I was personally longing to get back into my faith and started going back to church regularly. I used to be very devout in my Catholic upbringing and personally felt like I needed a positive outlook in life again. So whenever I met Andrew, we started going to church together more and spending more time with each other. I know it is not common in today's society, but Andrew and I are waiting to have spicy sleep until we are married.
Let's go. I'm a huge supporter of that.
This is something that Andrew and I chose to do together as we were only looking for a seriously committed relationship and our life partner. Felicity always seemed to judge this feature in our relationship. We were really close, but when it came to my personal relationship, she always wanted to know his size, if he was a good kisser, and if we had gone further.
Also, who you surround yourself with is like a reflection of yourself.
Yeah.
And then this person doesn't seem like your brand.
No, not at all. I want to know the backstory of where you found Felicity, not Andrew.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, how did that work out?
I was normally not the kind of person to share those personal details of any partner I had, so I found it weird that she kept asking and laughing about it when she would ask. Also, whenever all of us would hang out, she would talk more to Andrew rather than me, and always seemed to just want to hang out with the two of us, not just me or her. Fast forward to when I asked her to be a bridesmaid. Whenever Andrew and I got back from our trip, I noticed she did not seem excited for me at all. She would keep saying, "I'm really excited for you. I'm just really busy." I sort of overlooked this because I thought she may have been going through something at the time. Whenever I asked her to be my bridesmaid, the look on her face was not pleased. She had mentioned that her sister, who just got married, really put her through the ringer with in her finances. Whenever Felicity was the maid of honor for her sister's wedding, her sister made her buy all of the bridesmaid presents, a yacht to rent for the bachelorette trip, and a lot more. Her and her sister didn't fall too far from the tree, though. They both have expensive tastes and are very particular. I am not like the typical bride who expects everyone to spend more than $500+ for a wedding day. I was already planning to make it really easy for my bridal party, like making it optional for getting the hair and makeup done, finding inexpensive dresses, and even not really caring if I had a bachelorette party. So whenever I shared with Felicity that she is one of my closest friends and explained why I wanted her to be a bridesmaid, she didn't look ecstatic, but said she would do it.
Dude, what?
Yeah, I guess I'll come to your wedding.
Carly, you just won $1 million.
That's cool, I guess.
Dude, what? This is not your friend.
Yeah.
Okay, from what I've seen,
yeah,
you're a backup friend. Anytime she doesn't have something else going on in her life, she's going to hit you up. Hey, let's go to the town. Hey, let's go to the bars.
Yeah.
Have you ever looked at where you go and how she acts? If you're going to the bars, is she like trying to like talk to guys or not really like
you're just there to be there?
Yeah, she's using you. And then in this case, you're like advancing in life and
Yeah.
she's still in another lane. She's like,
backup friends do not get to be bridesmaids.
friends get excited whenever you ask them to be bridesmaids. Oh my gosh.
Soon after that, I started noticing Felicity's behavior change. Whenever we would go on our walks together, she would make comments like, "It's tradition that the bride pays for the hair and makeup," or "Whenever I'm a bridesmaid, I like to know who they're marrying and be close with them," and so on. I would also reach out in a group text to the girls and plan on when to go dress shopping, bridal showers, and such. Felicity seemed to not want to be a part of any of it and only made an appearance at our bridesmaid fitting. I noticed this behavior more and more, so whenever I asked her about her thoughts on being a bridesmaid, she started saying how she was indifferent with it all. She mentioned that she was still unsure only because she couldn't support being at a bridal party if she wasn't super close with the groom or know him enough. This really took me back because the whole point of being a bridesmaid is to show support for the bride and show that you, as a close circle, are going to walk the bride through this new journey in her life.
That ain't your friend.
That's not your friend at all.
Felicity, Delicity, Convixily. That ain't your friend.
This sparked a whole conversation with her about how our friendship seemed different. I know she was telling me how she missed how things were and that we needed to hang out more, but in all honesty, our friendship definitely took a shift due to lack of support and understanding. The person I knew would be supportive and not be catty about everything. I also felt like she didn't understand the amount of pressure I have been under and the lack of social life I have due to our family troubles. I ended up telling her again that I will try to make more time, but it is limited just because I have no idea how my mom will be feeling and so on. We ended on a good note, but I was still getting a huge feeling that she was not convinced. As more of the planning went on, our family started planning for my bridal showers, and close friends started planning for bachelorette parties. Felicity didn't want to be a part of any of it. Anything mentioning something that was about me, she would rudely respond in the group message and make everything awkward.
She's so jealous.
Why is she still in your bridal party?
What?
Get rid of her.
Carly been preaching this all day. Where's the line in the sand? Where's it
Where
at?
is it? We need to find it.
We need to find it. Oh my gosh.
She even had the nerve to be extremely rude to my sister-in-law when she asked for help to set up one of my bridal showers. Fast forward to most recent. I just had my bridal shower, and I was expecting her to be there. Shocker, she wasn't. I had messaged her that night asking if she was able to get her dress yet, and quickly found out she didn't even purchase her dress. When I read this over my phone, I immediately saw red and sadness. This response just proved to me that she never wanted to support me through any of it, and that our friendship was completely over. Every time I would have an opportunity to have free time, she always responded along the lines of, I don't have the time to commit to anything scheduled right now, as it has to be more in spontaneity. At this point, I was very close to just having her not be in the wedding at all. That would be a great idea. I had realized in that moment that she was going to have a huge attitude the whole day of the wedding, even if she showed up. If she even showed up. Honestly, after how wrong she has treated me, I don't even have the energy anymore to make sure she's going to be pleased. Also, you shouldn't. It's your wedding.
It's your wedding. You should be the one that needs to be pleased.
Yeah.
Not her. Felicity, all this complicity needs to be some basic felicity.
Uh-oh.
OPN 5.
That was good.
That's a basketball term thing. They'll do like OKC, KFC, UFC, Lakers in 5.
What's in 5?
Like they play to 7.
Okay.
Best
okay.
4 out of 7. So they'll be like Lakers in 5. So they'll win in 5 games. Yeah. Keon and Dakota would understand.
I thought you were doing a theater reference. I'm not going to lie. Thank
nope.
you, 5.
Nope. Sorry.
After thinking it over, I gave her an option to just be a wedding guest instead, as she may have more trouble getting her dress in time and completing alterations. I gave Felicity the option in case time and money were too hard for her right now and said it's okay if she decided to do that. She responded back somewhat annoyed, saying that she was busy and would message me the next day. She hasn't attempted to reach out even after I asked her before I went to bed to call me when she gets 5 minutes. I am seriously debating punting her out by the end of the week if she doesn't respond to me, and fear that she is going to ghost me completely. This whole situation around my engagement has been extremely upsetting to me, and I am heartbroken that she will not give me the courtesy to be an adult and back out herself. My bridal party is also fed up and thinks I should rip the band-aid off that she is not in the bridal party. They also think it is ridiculous how she has treated me from the beginning and are saying I am better off. I could really use some advice on this. Please help. And we have an update.
Girl, I feel like a lot of people who are confronted with making a decision, whatever the hardest thing to do, most likely the right thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, she's taking herself out of it already. We don't need her here. She's done nothing to help this.
Yeah. You just gotta send a text. Hey, I just don't think it's best for you to be in the wedding.
Yep.
Boom.
She's probably not even going to answer.
Probably won't.
We have an update. I wanted to thank everyone who all had the time to comment on my original post. After she had ignored me for about 6 days, I had officially cut her out of the bridal party. I had a feeling she would not have answered my phone calls, so I only gave her the news through text. I said something on the lines of this. I know you've been incredibly busy with work/family stuff, but with this being crunch time, I really need to be organized and can't have things fall through. So I've decided to make some changes to the bridal party. Overall, it seems like you haven't had time to fully enjoy or participate in the bridal party's events, so I'm just going to take this off your plate. I would still love for you to be a part of the wedding in a way that is less demanding. If you are unable to make it, I understand. Although it is a huge relief that I took the initiative to cut her out, I'm still very sad that this was how I ended a 4-year friendship. I'm somewhat grieving still over the relationship we used to have, but I realize now what has been gone for a while and the damage has been done. I know now that it will never be how it used to. Her response of, "That works for me," was closure enough to me. Wow. I still hate that it had to come to this, but I know this will be able to help me enjoy my day even more now that she's out. I don't see myself continuing our friendship either, which is probably for the better. By the way, you can continue your friendship with us by listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. We have another update. Do you have any
Girl.
thoughts?
Like I said, you just gotta send that text out. I think no matter what her reaction is,
Well, we
it's
got
not,
the reaction.
Oh, well, no matter what it is, it's not your fault.
Yes.
It's hers. She decided not to show up to any of this thing. She decided not to be happy and decided to be jealous. So please don't put that on you with whatever you do. I understand you can be sad, but this part's not on you.
Yeah. Her saying that works for me, that's the end of it.
There we go.
That's where you stop.
There we go.
I do want to end this post on a happy note. I was able to ask my fiance's best man's wife, Lindsay. Andrew's best man happens to be his cousin, and we are all very close as we have had frequent double dates together. Lindsay's extremely awesome, and before this all went down, she even volunteered to take charge in my planning/hosting my bachelorette with my close friends and bridal party. I'm extremely happy that I decided to listen to my gut and do what was best to enjoy my wedding. Again, thank you all for reassuring me that I was not crazy and right to pump Felicity out. I'm extremely excited to have no stresses on my wedding day and can't wait to call Andrew my husband in a few months. And that's the end of that story.
I was excluded from being a bridesmaid in my brother's wedding. It made me upset. Bad brother. So I'm willing to accept my fate here if I'm in the wrong. For a bit of context, I, 29 female, am the eldest of my siblings. My brother, Mark, 26, have the same mom and dad. We have always been super close, and when I had my son back in 2016, I asked him to be his godfather. We were always inseparable and protective of one another. Our parents split when I was 6 and Mark was 3. By the way, this comes from Pearly Shells, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, mom remarried and had our brothers Jake, now 19, and Josh, 17, and our sister Ella, 13, with our stepdad. Mark and I always spent more time together for obvious reasons. Our bio dad would take us on vacations. We would spend Christmas and different occasions together, etc. We still had a great relationship with our siblings, who we never referred to as step siblings. No matter what, we were simply brothers and sisters. There have never been any issues with any of our relationships. Mark and I were just always considered the older two and did a lot more together given our parents' divorce. Fast forward to last August, my brother proposed to his now fiancée Jade, 25 female, who I just adore. She's perfect for my brother, and they complement each other well. My brother made a comment on the video call that I would have, quote, bridesmaid duties to help Jade, to which Jade said that she was so excited and that I could help with hair, etc., as I am a hairstylist. Cut to the engagement party. Both families were in attendance. My mom, stepdad, our bio dad, and all of my siblings too. My son was too young to attend, so he was at his grandma's that night. At some point in the evening, Mark and Jade came out with boxes for the bridal and groom parties. Both my younger brothers were the best men. My younger sister was going to be a bridesmaid, and 2 of Jade's friends, one is bridesmaid and one is the maid of honor. They approached me last with a gift and asked if I would give it to my son and ask if he would be their ring bearer. Of course, I said yes. That was such a beautiful idea. Then my mom and bio dad both came to me asking where my box was to be a bridesmaid, to which I replied I didn't receive one. Both our parents were upset about this, as they said that they thought it wasn't nice that all of my siblings were going to have a part in my brother's big day, except for me. I haven't said anything to my brother, as we have never had any disputes over anything, barring fighting over the TV remote as kids, so I don't want to upset him. Maybe he thought that by having my son be a part of his wedding, seeing as he is his godson, that would be why. A few mutual friends of ours texted me that following day and asked the same thing. Was I not asked to be a part of it? That is really when I started overthinking, as one of them said that when they come to have their wedding pictures of the bridal party and groom party with the parents, I will be the only one not in either party. I'm so confused, and I don't want to cause any drama. I just want my brother to be happy. So, am I the a-hole? And there is an edit. Mark was a groomsman at my wedding, and Jade was a bridesmaid also.
I'm not sure if this makes any odds, as I truly do understand that it's up to them who they choose. From a lot of comments, I really didn't think about it that much until I started getting a lot of questions from family and friends. And there is an update, but do we think that she is the a-hole for any of this?
No, you haven't done anything yet.
No, yeah. I think not at all. You're not going to be the a-hole if you bring this up. Like,
no.
You can just pose it as a simple question. Just like, hey.
I thought I was going to be a part of your wedding. I was wondering, did I do something?
Yeah, or is there any way I could help out?
Yeah.
Like, what can I do? I am mid-read of the comments under the post, and my brother calls to my house to see myself and my son. And this isn't unusual, as he would call in the past every couple of weeks. He doesn't live overly far from me. We sat and had our usual catch-up, and we have always been quite good at realizing when something is up with one another. So I must have been giving off a vibe as he noticed. He asked, was I okay? And I was very honest, but approached it delicately, as the last thing I want is to cause any issues between us. Before I could get too deep into the conversation, he stopped me and said that this was a conversation him and Jade had a lot, and a few arguments over having me as a bridesmaid, as he just assumed that I would be. Something I maybe should have mentioned is that Jade is an only child. My brother told me that he feels that sometimes he got the feeling that she was jealous of our relationship, but that they never discussed that. Around 10 years ago, our grandmother passed away, which was our dad's mom, and my brother was a teenager, and we both found that this impacted my brother greatly, as she was like a second mother to us both. And from this awful situation, we leaned on each other for everything while we managed that horrible period of grief, during which he hadn't been with Jade that long and did push her away slightly while dealing with it all. He said when they were deciding bridal and groom parties that Jade wanted equal numbers on both sides, as in my brother has our 2 younger brothers and his friend, and Jade has her 2 friends and our younger sister, then my son as a ring bearer, and Jade's maid of honor daughter as flower girl. He explained that he said to Jade that he would have wanted me to be upstanding with him as a groomsmaid if I was not a bridesmaid, which is not something I've heard of much, if I'm honest. And when it would be the morning of the wedding, that he would want me in the room with him and my son, also with my other brothers and my dad. Jade said that that was nothing personal. Now, whether that is true, I don't know, but I feel kind of odd about it, but there really hasn't been any issues with any of us. A lot of you in the comments were correct. Jade also told Mark that it would be less stressful for me if I were to attend as a guest, as my son would be the ring bearer. My brother did seem very upset over this situation, as he saw having all of his siblings involved in his wedding. He said that the topic was never resolved and they haven't spoken much on it, even though he apologized for how the engagement party went down and said that Jade hadn't made him aware of the whole thing with the boxes, and he was caught off guard and embarrassed. He didn't know how to approach this with me, as he doesn't feel like it's been resolved in terms of me having a place in their wedding. But it was left between us that no matter what, I'll be there on his day to support him, and to be honest, regardless of me being a guest, I will be where I feel I belong, in the room the morning of the wedding with my brother. I'm not going to cause any drama or make their day about me, but I feel like I've gotten a lot of clarity from this conversation. I want to clear things up and let you know that we've got full episodes with more stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Storytime. But we do have a little bit more. We hugged it out, and I told him that I just want happiness for him, and if there's any issue on Jade's behalf in relation to me, I would gladly sit down with her, which he even said that there shouldn't be, and he doesn't understand it, as she keeps reiterating that it's honestly nothing personal and that she adores both me and my son. But now I'm quite stubborn, so even if she asked me to be a bridesmaid, I don't think I would want to be now. Now that I know all of this, does that make me the a-hole?
No. That's a hypothetical scenario. They still haven't asked you.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely don't think so. It'd be like
if I didn't say yes to being asked to be a bridesmaid after the fact, kind of pity bridesmaid, would I be the a-hole for rejecting? No.
Yeah, it's like if you finally come around to it and you're like okay with me being a part of the bridal party or the groom's party, like I'm going to choose the groom.
Yeah,
I'm going to wear a suit.
I'm not being on your side.
Exactly. On the bright side, I get to pick my own dress and not have the stress of planning any parties. Oh, and I told him under no circumstances am I doing bridal hair.
Yeah.
My mom's taking my son home the night of the wedding so that me and my hubby will be enjoying the open bar. Cheers. And that is the end of that story.
Very fair. Very fair. Don't offer your services for someone who doesn't appreciate you.
Absolutely.
That's just how it goes.
Yeah. Could you imagine if she's still like asking for that, even if she's like
your you're not going to be part of the party, but also I do need someone to do my hair.
Yeah, like to do, like for insult to injury.
Add insult to injury?
Yeah, to add insult to injury. You can't be a bridesmaid, but you can do all of the bridesmaids' hair and be there while everyone is so excited and getting ready and taking pictures together.
Brutal. That'd be brutal.
That'd be terrible.
Oh my goodness.
But that is the end of that story and the end of that episode.
So if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you.
And see you tomorrow.
My boyfriend's parents refused to attend our wedding. I told them it would change everything.
Drag him there.
So my boyfriend, male 28, comes from a very religious Catholic family. Protestant, female 26, and don't know much in detail about Catholics. My boyfriend is agnostic and has been since he was 16. Since his parents are very strict and religious, he went over 10 years without telling them. By the way, this comes from user Designer Raccoon 661, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So when we got together, they were really upset about me not being Catholic and him not picking someone within the faith. We live together, and that's another thing they're upset about. Living in sin.
You're sinning. You're sinning.
You're living in sin. The most understandable thing is the baby. I was pregnant when we met and told him when I found out. It was from a previous partner. He decided to stay, and when we marry, adopt our baby. This, I understand, his parents being concerned about. I would be too as a parent. The baby is now the least of the worries as everyone has accepted our baby. Now it's the religion that's the issue.
I just love that you really hit him with everything that religious parents hate.
Yeah. It's baby out of wedlock, and that's not their sons. You're not Catholic.
You're living together. You're adopting the baby together.
And low-key, your boyfriend's secretly not even Catholic anymore. Oh, yeah. They're going to be very mad.
I'm here for it.
They live in Michigan, and we are here on vacation. My boyfriend decided it was time to tell them the truth after Easter since it's a big deal for Christians, even me. I am a believer as well. Well, yesterday, he sat down with his parents and told them. It didn't go well. His mother cried, and his dad went on a lecture and told us what they're unhappy about. The night before, I had learned that apparently Catholics don't go to Protestant weddings if one of the people getting married isn't a Catholic anymore. And that's why they didn't go to his cousin's wedding, because it wasn't in a Catholic church. Them not going would be a big deal for me and my boyfriend as well. He said he'd be hurt. Of course he would. His parents aren't going to go to his wedding.
Anyone would be hurt about that. Okay, so wait, this was him telling them I'm agnostic since I was 16.
I think so. I think everything has been laid on the table.
They know the rest of it.
It's been revealed.
Okay.
The truth is on the table. So I asked them when we get married, would they be there or not? They said no, because it's against their faith, and how it's not a valid wedding because it's not by the church. So I told them I would have a pastor because I believe in God and being united under God. They said it's not a valid wedding. So one, they would not attend, and that's a blow to me. Second, it feels like they are dismissing our wedding. My boyfriend is hurting and I'm hurting. I was honest with them and told them it's a big deal for me and that if they don't go, it will change things for me. His mom asked, "What do you mean?" I told her it would change how close I am to you guys. It would be a while before I'm ready to see you again. His mom got angry and raised her voice, saying it was unfair to say that because it's not about me and it's about their faith. Saying it's not about her when it's about her wedding to your son is the most brain-dead logic I've ever seen. This isn't even about you.
All you have to do is show up and watch your son get married to someone that he loves that you have known for years.
Girly pop. I told her, I get that, but it doesn't change the fact that it would hurt me regardless. I do understand, but I feel like they're justifying hurting us because they're hurting because her son is agnostic and I'm not Catholic. It insults me because it feels like I'm being treated like I'm also agnostic. It reminds me of my dad with their my way or the highway mentality. My dad and I don't have a great relationship because of that. I feel as if we will have to set up boundaries with them as well. So now I'm upstairs not wanting to go down because I feel awkward. I had to go down to make a bottle for my baby, and I told his dad good morning, and he didn't say anything back. That could have just been him not hearing me. Since knowing this information, it means a lot of family won't go due to the religion. His sister and his brother are very Catholic too. They are borderline zealots, if I'm being honest. There's much more I haven't written down, but I don't feel very comfortable I feel like I'm walking on eggshells way before the conversation yesterday. I guess what I'm wondering is if I was out of line for being honest with them about how I felt. No,
not at all. And I feel like this is something that you need to decide now. Like, you might lose them in the rest of the relationship, and if y'all are okay with them just not being part of your life because of this, or with them trying to jump back in after, and you're just going to need to get over that they missed the wedding.
Yeah, I think, this will end up being like an arm's length for a while situation. But you're not in the wrong for having feelings and expressing them.
Not a single bit.
Has anyone been in this position, and how did it go? And if any of you guys are strict Catholics, is this true? I've never heard of that until now. And edit, I forgot to say my boyfriend wants to elope now and be civil. But I always wanted a wedding with the families to feel special for one day at least. I don't want to elope, and I have not told him this yet.
I don't think you need to elope. I think you can still have the wedding. I think you just need to get over the fact that they're not coming.
I would agree.
I don't know religion well enough. Is Protestant a form of Christian? Is that why they're so mad?
Yeah.
Okay.
But they're like next door neighbors. I don't know. I'm not a theologian.
Listen,
but
I dated a Michigan religious family man once, and they were the most welcoming people ever, to the point where even after we broke up, I was in the grandma's Bible verse group chat for 2 extra months. I mean, it wasn't Catholic, so maybe that's the difference. But there is totally room to go around these rules of religion and still support the person. It doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter.
Yeah, it's really just they could just be well, you're different than us and we will accept that. And instead they're you need to be exactly the way we want you to be. And if you don't, then we won't be there. And that's a power play. But there's an update. I, female 26, had time to cool down because I was pretty pissed for many different reasons. I felt insulted because my boyfriend's, male 28, parents are Catholic and said our wedding will be invalid and not real, and that they want him to be with a Catholic girl, and that they aren't going because it's not in a Catholic church, and it felt insulting to my faith. So I'm Protestant. My boyfriend is an atheist. Wow, that's an upgrade from agnostic. We're going to have a pastor do the ceremony because I still believe in God. So I went and talked to my pastor, and he said, this is rough. And I talked to our town's local priest. He said, maybe talk and see if they can come to the reception. The next day, I talked to our local priest. Great guy, by the way, super chatty, just like me. I told him the situation. He said because my boyfriend hasn't been a practicing Catholic for over a decade, it's not like he's for the first time turning away from the church. So his parents should use this as an opportunity to show him love and grace the church has, and go. And to bring a nice gift, LOL. Like I said, he's a good guy. And he said if they don't feel comfortable going to the ceremony, to come to the reception. My boyfriend told his sister this, and she said that she still doesn't want to go because it's an internal fight, and that they still, a lot of his family is Catholic, don't think they will come, even if the priest gave the green light.
Nope. Don't. They're bad people now. Automatic, no. You got the green light. That was the only thing holding you back, and they told you could go. If you don't go, you're a bad person.
Yeah, they're just I don't like it now. They're saying, I don't like it, so I don't want to.
Yeah. Stop throwing your temper tantrum and go to your son's wedding.
So again, I felt hurt and unsupported. I think they're just using religion as an excuse because they don't want us to get married. I understand why. If you read the first post, you'll see why. I'd rather them just tell me up front, though, and be honest, instead of lie and use religion to lie about it. I feel like that's hypocritical. Personally, I would rather go no contact, but my boyfriend is not willing to do that. So I want to, at the very least, go low contact, because I know from both sides there will be resentment, miscommunication, and misunderstandings, and I don't think that's healthy. My boyfriend and I made a deal so that we can both get what we want. He's an atheist, and I want him to study the word of Christ, go to classes, and ask the questions as to why he doesn't believe. So he will do the latter and see if he'll have a change of heart. If he doesn't, I will never press the issue. And for me, I will start low contact with his family and slowly build a relationship. And I will also learn the things he does and find out whether God is real or not. He wants me to challenge my beliefs, which I think is valid. No, if they're all like, y'all need to be Catholic or we're not going, and then your boyfriend's like, you need to be atheist or you're wrong, I hate all of this, and you should just be single.
I don't think that the boyfriend's saying, or you're wrong. I think he's just saying, if you're forcing me to learn your ways, at least hear me out in my ways. I think that this is turning into just wildly too much of a, why are we not just believing what we believed at the start thing?
Why don't we just get married?
Right.
and then be married and move on. I told him I can't promise a close relationship because I don't know if that can happen with how his family is. His family and I are very different. I mean, we are different races, so different cultures and customs. I love to dance, and as Mexicans, we have big parties. His family doesn't do any of that and see that as sin. They sound very fun. So I know we won't be close, but I promised him a working relationship, and if they grant themselves as a deeper connection, I will do the same. He says he's content with that. And by the way, you'll be content if you go listen to full episodes with stories just like this on basically any podcast platform that you listen to podcasts on. It could be iHeartRadio or Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Just search OK Storytime, the name of the show, and you can listen to over 2,000 episodes. Crazy. We've got a little bit more of this story. Let's finish this. I guess what I want advice on is if this is the right way. Should I not force him to try and learn about God? And should I not try to force myself into a situation that can go south with his family? This has made me doubt whether we are compatible because I know he's very close to his family and I think they can get away with anything and he won't change his boundaries with them. I noticed that all the siblings do that. One just is low contact with them because of the religion thing. So I wonder if I should stay or not. But my boyfriend is a wonderful person and I love him so much and I really don't want to leave. Our relationship itself is strong. It's just the outside sources. My family is uber supportive of him. I guess any advice to help sort these conflicting feelings are welcomed. And that's the end of that story.